Hall Heroes.
Happy birthday,
Yo, what up, everyone? Welcome to TownHall Heroes. We are back after a 3+ month hiatus for episode 175. Joining with me, Kala and Marche. Boys, I guess I have to do just kind of like the why, where, how, what, whatever, right out of the gates. It's been a while, obviously. The show kind of fizzled out. We pretty much said, hey, we're done. We're going to host a finale, and that's going to be that. And I kept putting off, even asking people to do the finale. Kubi and I went to like New Orleans. He's like, hey, I'm supposed to be on this finale. When are we doing it? I'm like, I didn't want to close it out. I wasn't satisfied, I guess. And I still like talking about the game. And basically, Kala and I were flown out to LA for the Crucible, where Marche resides. The three of us were hanging out, just talking about the game. And we're just kind of like, yeah, there should be a podcast. So here we are. Kala, my man, how you been? How have you been?
I've been freaking awesome. Today I'm a little bit scuffed because I'm not feeling well. Haven't showered, but I'm a little greasy. But man, I'm happy to be here. Happy to talk about the game, of course, especially surrounded by you two fabulous gentlemen.
Yeah, dude, I agree. Marche, have you been waterlogging at all lately, like Kala?
Not quite as much as Kala, but I send some water logs here and there, for sure.
What's good, man? How's the stream life?
Good. It's same old. All the exciting stuff is kind of around the corner with TwitchCon, BlizzCon, JapanCon, but it's been good. Still grinding Hero League. New season just started. Already up there, Grandmaster.
How's Hero League this season for you?
Hey. As soon as Grandmaster went live, I was already top 50. Since then, I've tanked hard. I'm like 140 right now. But it's been good,
How has it been for you, Kala?
It's been all over the map, man. This season has actually been the most frustrating season I've ever played Heroes of the Storm.
Really?
I have lost it on multiple occasions, like mentally. I've been a diamond player, master player a couple different times. I think I started off at like 23% win rate. And I didn't do anything different,
That's
I go
not
from
good.
last
really
season.
Not good.
I was sitting at like 6K master points or something like that. A lot of my time spent in Heroes of the Storm is in replays, so I don't get quite as much time to play Hero League as some other players. But yeah, and then I just like go to the next season and all of a sudden lose every single game relentlessly and never get to win. It's like, oh no.
Well, I've got to ask you guys, I mean, now that Team League has solo queue, have you been still sticking to Hero League? Because is that still what's most competitive for the highest level? Or is there any Team League in your agenda, even if you were to solo queue?
I feel like it's hard to say because, first of all, I have played Team League this season, but I haven't done the solo Team League. I think I've maybe played one solo game of Team League, and it was fine, but I like the idea, but you still have these Grandmaster solo queue players that are ending up with like gold or like plat Team League rankings. And then you have people like me who, because I have games in Team League from previous seasons, I'll just play placements and get Master 1K if I go 0-10. So it's like, I like that they're trying to change it and make it more competitive, but it still doesn't feel like any less of a meme, really. Which sucks, because I want it to be like a viable game mode. I really do.
As far as competition goes, I don't think that Team League really hosts the environment where competition is something that you strive for. I think it's more of a, hey, this is just a better version of an unranked draft, kind of, and you can enter in, you can play whatever heroes you want, sort of thing. And I like the dynamic of just being able to get whatever pick you want in whatever order. I still think that swaps, like hero swaps, would be so much better than just anyone being able to lock in at any time. But I think it is a step ahead in the right direction for sure. So I like it for that. Whenever I'm wanting to just spam Abathur or just like, stuff like that, I get to play Team League.
I mean, people have been asking for duo queue back in Hero League for a long time, but Team League isn't exactly that compromise, right? It like kind of gives you the experience of being able to solo queue in an environment where people are grouping up. But would you want to see them kind of bring duo queue back at this point, considering Team League still is, or maybe even consolidate the two into one unified thing that kind of brings it back to what Hero League used to be, that with solo queue, duo, triple, I mean, the whole shebang, because, I mean, queue times aren't great all the time, right? And there's so many different game modes. I mean, if you look at HOTS logs, I think unranked draft is by far the lowest played.
Yeah.
I don't know what you would get rid of if you were to purge one game mode.
I don't see why getting rid of unranked draft isn't in the cards. I think you could just easily get rid of unranked draft and kind of pool all of those players over into Team League. But no matter what you do with any of these game modes, there's going to be a minority or maybe even majority group of people who are going to be butt sad about it. There's no way around it.
True.
Yeah. That's totally true. And also, I will say, though, for the Team League queue times, compared to some of the Team League queue times of old, it is way, way faster and better. Yeah. So that's nice. But it's like, still the idea of being able to, me, as a Grandmaster Hero League player, queue with, like, a friend of mine who's silver or gold, and queue into a bunch of, like, plats and diamonds. Like, I don't care how you try to spin that. Like, that's not competitive.
Good. Yeah, that's not good. Yeah.
So I mean, I see a lot of people talking about how like Team League's the new way to go, and like for sure it's like faster queue times and like it's I think in the right direction, the recent changes. But to say it's like the competitive game mode, I'm not sold.
No, that's a very good point.
It kind of feels weird too, because there are a lot of people who are GM in Hero League that sit around the gold mark in Team League. You know, Fury is one of them. I'm pretty sure Leon's in gold too. But
that's
sometimes.
What I'm saying.
Yeah, you'll queue in and you see those, gold ranked players in Team League, and you're like, oh, okay, this is going to be kind of monka, and then you end up getting stomped. I'm just used to getting stomped in games, okay?
Yeah. This season's been a little rough for you, but
you think weird. It's partially are you seeing the meta shift of like a lot more double support and stuff on Hero League? I'm curious.
Oh, we're definitely seeing a lot more double support in Hero League, at least in GM for sure. It's not like every game, but yeah. Because there was like a good lull there where it was finally gone, and now it's like maybe a few games out of the day.
It is true, but Hero League 2, people are a lot smarter than that, so you'll just run an Ana or some healing reduction, and a lot of the times it gets shut down. Like, Ana has been absolutely dominating double support, as she should, in the games of Hero League that I've played, where I've been the recipient of getting bodied by Ana, and I've had her on my team against double support, and it feels like they don't even have a second hero if the Ana's playing well. Because a lot of the times, double support isn't heavy dive, it's more of just like a consistent push style composition. You'll run double support with a ranged auto attacker, and all you do is just run at the enemy team, no real dive. And yeah, Ana just shuts it down so hard because she just sits on the backline the whole time, just shuts down all the healing. It's really cool.
She's going to be even more impactful with the change. It's it's a big buff. It doesn't sound like a huge buff if you don't play Ana, but the healing darts will now go through an ally if they're at full HP. And before, you'd be wasting heals left and right in some situations, which is a massive problem. And it's just going to make the quality of life of the hero way better. But, honestly, we just jumped in immediately into discussion, which is fantastic because we have a lot to say about the game, and talking about Hero League was great. But just so you know, guys, tonight we're going to be talking about Mal'Ganis, who's the new hero. We're going to be backtracking a little bit since it's been a while since we had a show, and talking about Brightwing and Kerrigan reworks and how they should affect, or what we think the effect will be on the meta going into Blizzcon, since they will be playable. Map changes, not necessarily affecting the pro scene as much, but we do have the rework for Garden of Terror, and we do have the new Hanamura, and also the fact that Haunted Mines is just gone. Sounds like it's done. But we'll talk about that. And then esports, talking about a little bit about BlizzCon. It's a few weeks away. We've got players retiring, teams qualifying for Crucible, a lot of stuff to talk about there. And then maybe if we have time, we'll jump in and talk about BlizzCon and kind of what we want to see and what we will see, since this is probably going to be the only pre-BlizzCon show we have time to do. But let's just jump straight into Mal'Ganis, who I have only tried in try mode, so I cannot offer much discussion. Have you guys? I know Marche, you said you got him to 5 on stream the other day. Kala, how about you?
I farmed him immediately to 5. I haven't got to play him in Hero League yet, but pretty much every person that I've talked to or have seen played him in Hero League basically everybody's undefeated on him. I know Marche, you were like 2-1 or something. That game you should have won. I'm pretty sure you should have been 3-0. Leon was 3-0. Yeah, just people are eating with Mal'Ganis. He is so damn fun, dude. He's so cool. His sound design is absolutely amazing. His visuals are perfect. He looks like handsome Squidward. Like, it's all just so sick, dude. I freaking love him.
Handsome Squidward.
Handsome Squidward. That's the meme that's going around right now. Honestly, I see it.
Hashtag production boys.
He super looks like it in his portrait when you zone in. Yeah. Before the meme even started, I'm like, wait, who is, like, why does he look like a male model in this picture? It's hilarious.
His portrait, you said?
Yeah, when you're loading into a game, he actually just looks like
I see.
Squidward. It's brilliant. He's so beautiful.
So kawaii. Is he busted though? That's the question.
So I don't know if busted. He definitely feels super strong, and he's really fun to play. I think even if he wasn't like this strong feeling, his kid is just super fun to play around with. He feels really cool, but that might also be because he's a little overtuned. But I mean, healing reduction wrecks him really hard. Silences wreck him really hard. Might be busted though.
He's got a stun and a sleep. Sleep lasts 2.5 seconds, stun lasts 0.75. That's huge. Both of his ults seem value and viable, but dark conversion seems... what was the combo? Dark conversion plus last rites?
Yeah. I mean, like, I thought seeing like the hero spotlight and stuff, the dark conversion was just gonna be busted, and then like seeing HHE pull off that combo too. But after playing it like in QM to level him up and then in some hero league games, I feel like dark conversion is a lot more memey than Kerrigan Swarm, because like they both have the same wind up, which can be interrupted. But the difference is once you get Kerrigan Swarm's wind up done, you're invulnerable and can reposition and heal up. Whereas dark conversion, you do the wind up and then it goes off, and then you still have to like start healing up, and so you have a bigger window to just get shut down. I have used dark conversion successfully, and it feels really good when you do it. But I feel like Kerrigan Swarm's going to be the more go-to.
I'm in the same boat, because if you think about both of the heroics, they're both used to make sure that you don't die, basically, and they're both used to do damage as well. But again, like, all of his damage is meant to heal him and keep him in fights. That's the whole point behind Mal'Ganis. You're always wanting to continue to do damage so that you stay in a fight. But to me, Kerrigan, it's easier to satisfy that condition, because you heal up so much. You heal up for 100% of the damage dealt instead of just 40%, I think is the baseline for his trait. So you heal up for 100% of the damage. So you still go from 30% HP to 100% HP if you use it, in a grouped up scenario. And then the only downside to Kerrigan, I think, is like the 1 second wind up as opposed to the 0.75 for dark conversion.
Right,
but,
it's minuscule. But
yeah, there's been a bunch of times where I've gotten insane value out of dark conversion. I've sat in a lava wave and one-shot a Ragnaros that was trying to kill me, like that sort of thing. And the plays are super pog when you pull them off. It's just, I think amazing. Swarm is probably going to be the better one, because you can use it without having to be low HP. You always are on that kind of cusp of killing yourself. If you're sitting at 20 HP and you want to get the most value out of your ult, what happens if you just get interrupted on it? Then you're just absolutely boned.
Right, but also 3 seconds of invulnerability of still being a threat that has to be considered in the front line, like while he's healing. It's like a whirlwind on crack in a lot of ways when you think about Sonya, because that's so much time in a team fight.
Well, also, even just yesterday in Hero League, I had a game where I got Pyroblasted at like 30% HP and just popped the ult to soak it up. So not only, you can also use it like that, just straight up as a disengage into like eat spells. Whereas you can't do that with conversion.
That's true. And there's no proactive gameplay that's possible with dark conversion. Whereas, I've used Kerrigan Swarm to just straight up initiate a fight / dive. When you're at full HP and you see that your enemy team just steps out super far, you can use it as a tool just to hard engage on somebody. But with dark conversion, you're not able to do that. I found I was like level 17 or something, and I had only used dark conversion once. Whereas every single game, I'll just rip the bats, man. I'll rip the swarm just to get a bunch of damage. Maybe you get them to 50% health and you can take a structure. Like, there's so much more I feel you can do with Kerrigan Swarm.
You guys are absolutely slaying me right now, because I haven't bought him yet and I've been holding out. But just talking about this hero right now.
Oh, you should.
I'm going to jump probably right after the show, honestly, just because.
He's so fun, dude.
I wanted to ask a question to you, Marche, and this is something I'm kind of struggling with. People come into the stream like 24/7 asking, "Hey, is Mal'Ganis a main tank or an offlaner?" And the worst part is he operates as such an effective offlaner, in my opinion. His clear isn't that great, but he has that raw sustain. Maybe maybe not like an HGC offlaner where you need the double soak a lot more, but he can sustain himself super well. He duels pretty well, but my thing with him is he doesn't have the engage range of something like a Diablo, where you just like click something and you can engage a fight, or with Murden where you just jump in and stun somebody up and you can engage a fight. That's my one problem with him. I feel like he needs another hero that's able to initiate. What do you
Definitely
think?
not, but like you see Arthas is there like main tanks or run in both positions, but primarily main tank, and he doesn't have that engage range either. He doesn't like perma dive. You have to land a skill shot, whereas I feel like his engage is better than someone like Arthas is. You can just kind of come in the flank and like hit the stun and then the sleep. And that being said, though, yeah, I think it's like an Arthas. I think you can do both. I was getting that a lot yesterday when I was trying to play him. I ended up solo laning in one of my Hero League games, and my chat was like, "Oh, his solo lane sucks. His wave clear sucks." And then like I bodied a Chen in solo lane, like literally
A Chen?
zoned him. Yeah, a Chen. And I was like, wait, if I can lane against Chen, then like this guy.
But
can
he's
solo
got
lane.
double interrupts on the
Exactly.
brew though, so
Yeah.
in a way he kind of counters Chen.
Sure, but then also the raw sustain that Call was talking about.
Sure.
It's like I can see him in a lot of situations being at least able to float in the lane. Maybe not like win the lane, but like soak and float. And I think he can main tank for sure too.
And is his E that bad at engaging? You're talking about the Murden being able to go in and engage because you can just stun him out of it, right?
Right,
and then
you
he's
can stun
done.
him, and then it does give you movement speed, pretty significant movement speed buff too.
20%?
50%.
Oh, it's 50. Oh, wow, it's huge.
Yeah, and but there is like a little bit of a wind up, so if you use it at max range, you might not still catch.
Yeah,
your
but if you're
enemies.
flanking from the bush or something,
Right. Yeah. That's the best time to use it, because if people see you wind up, they're already gone.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's a 16-second cooldown, which is equivalent to a hook. So you think about that, it's got to be used in a similar fashion, almost a surprise, trying to catch them off guard.
I find his sleep is best like mid-fight sort of thing when CC already goes out, because if you're just trying to run at a team with like a Muradin or a Johan, like literally actually any warrior that has a brain, they're just going to CC you. You're never going to get a big sleep to initiate a fight unless it comes from a flank like that.
Yeah, but
which could be huge.
Where I just combo with my Q the front line and then start sleeping the back line and sleep a healer or like a squishy, and then my team kind of picks up the rest. And like I think, like you said, it's the best time to do it, like in the middle of a fight, post engagement. But like you can get so like clever with his like combos. I love it. There's so many ways to do it.
Oh, the window, just in try mode when I played him out, the window that you have to cast your next Q feels so good, right? It just feels really fluid for movement, for juking, repositioning, and then the last one for the 0.75 second stun. Like, just he's going to be a beautiful hero to watch. And that's not true for all heroes. I feel like some heroes just feel kind of like, a Garrosh just going to walk at you, stun you, throw you. But watching a Dreadlord, a Mal'Ganis play in general, I think is going to be really satisfying, especially the top level play.
I think so too.
He mimics Riven from League of Legends.
Yeah,
that was kind of what her playstyle was. You would Q, you auto attack, Q, auto attack, Q, auto attack, and then you get the knock up on the third one. And his Q is almost identical, and I love it. And his W functions very similar too. Obviously, hers is a stun in League, and his gives armor and heals him. But I think that everything about this hero is so fantastic. Maybe a little bit of number tweaking, but I really enjoyed my time playing him. Like when I was watching your stream, March, you were so giddy while you were playing him, dude. And I
can't remember last time. Yeah, I had that much fun playing a hero on release. Now, also because like I'm a Warcraft 3 nerd and just like a Warcraft nerd in general. Yeah. So like seeing the Dreadlord come to HOTS and then the way they did it, I feel like they nailed it. Like has the Vampiric aura, has a sleep, like it has the Carrion Swarm. It feels like a Dreadlord that I wanted, So I was like just so happy playing him.
I mean, I was talking about it before his kit was released. They kind of showed the graphic, and I was like, okay, this is what a Dreadlord does. I've played, like you, big Warcraft 3 nerd, and I'm like, if he has a point-click sleep, I'm gonna be so disappointed. And I think the implementation where he like flies at you, giving him the whole a use for his wings, whereas honestly in War 3 he doesn't really have that. It was really cool and thematically very well done. I think the team slayed it. Talent-wise, is there any like must pick talents in your opinion, just kind of for anyone trying to pick them up today?
It looks like people are like unanimously going in on a level 1 Vampiric Aura. I haven't actually tried anything else because I haven't gotten a chance to play him a lot in Hero League since he's been getting banned a bunch too. But I feel like Time to Feed might be sleeper. But
I mean, obviously you wouldn't
like a safe bet.
You wouldn't pick Vamp Aura if you're playing quick match and have no auto attack damage around you. Or does this? It's because it's physical damage.
It works for him.
It works for him.
Oh, he gets another 10% on it as well.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I personally played with all level 1 talents. I think Wing Guard is super good at when all they have is like I played it against a Greymane hyper carry and he literally just couldn't do anything. I would just fight him the entire time. He'd try to hit me. You'd pop armor. You'd have block. Like he just could not do anything. And I've played Time to Feed
infinite
well.
on that. Can you infinitely stack that? I'm
not sure actually.
Because that's what I was confused about. Like the tooltip, it doesn't really explicitly say you can only have a maximum of a certain.
Is it just 1? Because usually if it doesn't say it.
It says you get 1 if you don't engage at all, just passively.
I'll jump in and try and look. I didn't look at that, but all I know is it did mitigate a lot of damage. And I played Time for Feed on a map like Infernal Shrines where I was able to hit multiple heroes. And I played it on Dragonshire as well in the rotate. And you just, you constantly hit new heroes. And there's a little tooltip that has like vampire teeth. So you know when you're able to hit a hero and gain healing. It's pretty cool.
Would that be busted in like an Abraham? Probably.
Apparently max 10 stacks is what Chaos is saying, which is absurd. 10 stacks of block. Like,
wow. Yeah, so I think it's
fully auto team.
Good, dude.
Yeah,
that's
actually
insane,
all level 1
dude.
Basically, all his level 1s are super good. Which doesn't really answer your question about are there any must-take talents then?
No, that's really good, right? I'm thinking about Vamp Aura as like a Greymane dive buddy. Going to be really good with certain heroes like him. What's the radius on it? Do you know?
Oh,
is it like True Shot?
It doesn't tell you. You can't hover it to like show you, which I was actually pretty disappointed in, and I hope.
Yeah, that's also true for True Shot, though, and it's always been a problem with those kind of auras.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I'm sitting on 10 stacks right now. That's actually disgusting.
Yeah.
You're probably never going to get that unless people just literally aren't hitting you. But in situations where you're getting a lot of value out of your W on multiple targets, man, it's pretty crazy. I liked the talent a lot.
I'm also like a blind as a bat. A fan of that talent through and through.
Really?
What level is that?
I'm a meme talent, but I love that talent.
Why though? That's I actually want to know because I think
because in like tight spaces or like boss points and stuff, you just pop that thing and go crazy.
Yeah, but do you do anything?
I've had it fall flat and not do anything, and I've had it feel amazing too.
Is that worth it as a 80
80-second cooldown? Talent? You lose all vision for 6 seconds and you spam Q.
Don't at me right now.
It synergizes really well with Will Attack on
Master Race.
Wait, so in a LAN setting, you like look at your teammate's monitor next to you and you just start spamming Q.
direct me where to go, team.
That's actually, as we were talking about talents, that's the one I wanted to bring up because I feel like his level 16 is very lackluster. Yeah.
Oh yeah, his entire 16 tiers seems really lackluster.
I usually run Plague Bats just because, again, that extra raw damage just means extra healing, and I love the survivability of this W. So.
Necrotic Embrace. I don't know his ability names yet. Which one is that? That's the W.
It's his little AoE.
On okay. That gives him 25 armor, and then you get additional healing from the damage. Okay. I do like that he's kind of got like the lifesteal. He's got an armor activate, which has been a pretty common theme, but it's built into also like that's probably his best clear tool, right? His W. Well, I guess his Q does AoE as well. How is his clear compared to the average? Like, let's say Muradin. Compared to Muradin, what's clear like?
I'd say pretty comparable to Muradin.
A little bit higher, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, very similar. You Q the backline, then you auto attack one of the range mains, and then Q again, and then auto attack again, and then Q again, and then if you use your W, like it clears pretty much everything on the backline after that rotation usually. But it's not that great.
His clear definitely isn't as good as something like a Johanna or a Blaze or something, but it's obvious it's not complete trash.
Cool. Level 20. Anything stand out to you guys as like the must grabs?
Well, the upgraded Swarm is freaking sick. Like, after you're done going invulnerable and tearing through their team, these little bats fly out and then sleep them.
And deal damage too?
Yeah, like
it's not
that
a lot
one
of
I've
damage,
had a lot of fun with. I haven't actually gotten the dark conversion upgrade to ever. Well, I've never like actually used it, but people were telling me that it could be good, and I could see it being good.
I did it in a like 4 stacked team fight, and it was pretty insane. But that was just the one time I got value from it. And if people see you go it, like they're usually smart enough to stay away from the wrath target, or sorry, the dark conversion target. I can't speak.
Yeah, and then Alone in the Dark and Vanquish the Weak. I haven't taken either of them.
Me either. What do you think about his level 4? Man, I've been going Fueled by Torment almost every single time, and against fast auto-attacking heroes like Tracers and Genjis and stuff like that, I find it to be so crazy.
I took it against an Illidan Tassadar.
Oh man!
Yesterday, and they just couldn't kill me. Like they couldn't do damage to me
just
at all.
Infinite healing.
Yeah.
Have you tried running Might of Sargeras against like a Kel'Thuzad or something like that so far?
I've run it against Kael'thas.
Okay.
And it felt decent. I like the armor. But yeah, the duration reduction is definitely noticeable.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably something that you got to be wary of taking if you're a newer player, newer to the hero, and you don't really, Flame Strike is really telegraphed, right? Living Bomb is really telegraphed, but you're going to be sacrificing a lot of duration. What is the time difference? 2 seconds versus what, 4?
1 second.
Oh, it's 1 second.
3 seconds.
That's still significant though. 50% reduction on the duration to get 50 armor. I mean, it's huge, right? Versus Nova, if you can kind of tell when that combo is going to come out, you're going to completely nullify her effectiveness. But cool. No, I like that talent design a lot. That's risk reward is really good.
And then 13. What have you been going, Marche? I've been going mainly the slow. I find the slow pretty OP.
I've tried them all, and I thought that I'd like Blood Rush the least, but I think Blood Rush is super PogChamp. Because it pretty much has 100% uptime. It works with your own personal healing. It works with like regen globes and wells. It works with your healer healing you. So you pretty much has no downtime. You're just always walking around at 50% bonus movement speed.
That's insane.
Which
for
is
him,
like, yeah, that's a huge difference in whether or not you're going to land your Q.
And you were talking about whether or not he could engage. Giving him 50%
Yeah.
movement speed completely solves that problem. And 13 is early enough in the game to be totally relevant.
Wait, that's actually pretty tight. That's
I
won it once, but I don't know.
Like I said, I've taken them all, and I also like the slow a lot. And the increased duration was nice, but Blood Rush I thought wouldn't be that big of a deal, and it's my favorite one. I
Alright,
just
I'm
love
gonna have to go
about
to
how
talent
certain talents where like you read them and you're like, it sucks, and you actually play with them and you're like, this is amazing.
So you're talking about 15% movement speed. He's constantly getting healing, like you said. His Q technically gives him positioning and movement, right? And then his E is like his big, I'm going to sleep you. So yeah, you're almost never going to be using the E to raw engage unless you're flanking from bush with all that additional movement and your Q to kind of engage. Yeah, that's a fluid hero. That's cool. And that's totally not just the, I walk at you, I throw out my stun. That's the team fight. That's the engage. He's way more interesting, And even just using his Q to, like, say, juke a Stormbolt while still approaching forward and stuff like that, that's where he's going to feel like a really crisp front line and a really fun hero to play and watch.
Another question I wanted to ask was, so I found a few times that I was like input buffering on my Fel Claws, my Q, where I felt like I only hit it. I hit it 3 times, but I thought it would only register twice because I hit it like the 3rd time during the first cast, but I still ended up casting it 3 times. It's either because I'm playing on Central Server and I'm from Canada, or that's just kind of how the ability works. Did you find that was happening too, Marche, where you're just like accidentally using your Q 3 times instead of 2, or twice instead of once?
No, I didn't have that issue.
Okay. That's got to be it then, because there's so many times where I triple cast it, or
if you hit it 3 times, it goes, no matter what.
Yeah. See, and that's what I found. I thought it was an ability where if I hit it 3 times, but I was still during my first cast, it would only cast it twice, because it would take the 3rd key input and only cast it 2 times, because why would it cast it 3 times when you haven't even finished casting the 2nd cast,
Yeah.
Maybe I'm a liar. It seems inconsistent.
That's the only weird thing that I noticed. I'm gonna jump in and try it. See if it's different on LAN. 0 MS.
I'm in try mode. It seems to usually go. Maybe I suck. Probably the latter. Interesting. No, that's such a cool ability, though.
Yeah, no, I love this hero. I can't say enough good things about this hero.
The animations are just super good, too. Like, if you're a Warcraft 3 fan, you should be well aware of the Dreadlord. Such a hype hero in general.
Oh, yeah, are you smart casting, Curtis?
Yeah, I am. And I figured it out. It's if you tap it at moderate speed, your third cast, if you ever cast during one of the animations, it'll follow through with the next one. So if you cast it even just like pretty fast, it'll always cast all three.
Yeah, this is an ability where I 100% want to turn Smart Cast on. I don't use it for most things, but I enable it for certain abilities. And it's just because I'm a StarCraft player and I'm just so used to the way StarCraft works.
I also love that you can just change trajectory mid-cast, you know? Like, you can go right, left, up, or, like, up, up, and then down, so you can angle yourself in team
so
fights, so you can get
satisfying.
multi-knockouts.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I think it's going to be so cool to, like, juke, again, the Storm Bolt or whatever skill shot that's coming your way to the side and then move back in with the other ones. It's going to feel super fluid. It's really fast. The armor to engage. Are you guys typically using the armor immediately or once you think you're actually going to receive damage?
So that's where I feel like I haven't really gotten them down. I find myself using armor like in the wrong times.
Too early, because it's 8-second cooldown, which is pretty short, but...
And then depending on what talent you took it for, like your armor can increase how much healing you get from your Qs and stuff. So it's like deciding when the best time to use a W is, I think, like a bit of a learning curve. At least for me, it has been. And I don't feel like I have it down yet. But what I do love about that talent is that you can actually cast it during anything. You can cast it mid-Q, you can cast it while you're eating.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah,
I didn't
you can
realize
cast
that.
it while you're blind as a batting and everything, yeah.
Yeah,
like,
it's really
has no
versatile.
That's
animation.
super good. And it doesn't stop the animation, which is...
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, he has a mana bar.
Yeah, he
Does
does.
he?
Mana bar,
Just
which
straight up
I
spam
love.
all of his abilities, you will run out of mana very quickly, which I'm also super stoked with.
Yeah.
I'm glad that's a thing, yeah, because I feel like a lot of the newer heroes don't have mana bars or don't feel like they have mana bars, and you know, resource management is part of the game.
Especially his Night Rush being 70 mana. Like his other one, Felclaw's 50 mana, Necrotic Embrace 30 mana. But the 70 mana, if you use your sleep and you miss it or it gets low value and you do that consistently, like you will run out of mana so quickly.
Is it 50 per cast on the Q or 50 per combo?
I believe it's 50 per combo.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, 50 per
Yeah,
cast.
okay, that is, yeah, 50 per cast is be brutal. Okay, per combo. So you want to finish your combo in all situations. You never want to start it and stop it. There's a risk to letting your Felclaws drain down, because if you get stunned at the end of it, you're not going to be the latter half of it. That's cool.
What's also cool is if you get CC during your Felclaws, it doesn't matter. Like let's say the how do I word this best? If you get CC'd while you're using your Q, like you Q once and then you get like a very short stun, you can still use your Q again. It doesn't break it, which is really sweet. As long as the stun duration isn't greater than the timeout duration for your Felclaws.
Which I have had happen too, and that super feels bad.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you'll like hold your next Q and be like, let me get max value of this duration, then you get immersed and stun, and you're like,
wait,
oh.
Did I knock myself up?
Yeah, dude, you discovered some new tech.
Okay, this is a clip that Casanova just put in the chat.
Oh gosh, what is it? Then.
Wait,
Like, how did you do that? How did you do that?
Wait, I need to see this. What is this? Casa, are you
When I
farming?
saw it
right now?
happening live, and I was like, did I see that right? Like this. Look at this right here. How was that?
Went the other way.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we're breaking the game. Excellent. You know, who knows? Maybe there's a reason to not use quick cast. Maybe there's some special tech out there that can be discovered. Well, thanks for clipping that. I didn't even notice. I was just spamming stuff. Cool. Well, yeah, Mal'Ganis overall, obviously very good. Probably going to see some tuning at some point. Especially, you know, I haven't played him, like I said. I played a game against him yesterday where it was Apather had a Mal'Ganis and he was just unkillable, right? It was just so hard to deal with. Then you got the double Mal'Ganis in the fights. They're flying around, trading sleeps with each other, having a pajama party, and
But nano boosted blind is a bat.
See, people were flaming.
You can
on
leave
Reddit.
now.
People were hard flaming on Reddit. They're like, oh, but you don't need the cooldown or the mana. It's like, dude, that's not about it. It's all about the ability power. And then some people are like, wait a second. You get ability power on nano boost?
Oh no!
I was talking about this the other day on stream where people just straight up don't. I was talking to you about it. Where people just straight up don't know how some heroes work. We were talking about Muradin on his.
And they'll argue it Talon back though.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just so interesting. If you get hella value out of the blind as a bat, if you're nano boosted, man, you are farming people.
Boys, I gotta just hop in and say this right now. I'm so happy we're doing this show right now. Like, I felt so incomplete for a while, and this is it. This is what it was. So it's good to be back, boys. Thank you all for tuning in again. Seriously, I mean, we're just getting started tonight, but the heart's all out there. So let's kind of shift over to talk about one of my favorite heroes. Oh man, do I have to save Tyrande for a different show? I think I do, because that's an hour right there gone.
I mean, I'm down to talk Tyrande with you. Dude. I'll talk Tyrande with you for hours.
Originally, I said we we're only going to talk Brightwing Kerrigan, but let's just talk about Tyrande, and not so much about her kit, but more about her impact on the meta. Tyrande, you know, has seen the rework. You guys obviously know very well that she is now kind of much more viable than she was before. Hunter's Mark nerfed, double heals coming through. She's been tweaked a little bit actually since she first came back in. And obligatory Town Hall cat, Pancakes, the cat is here. She is very good, frankly. She got her old Shadow Stalk back. I think she's less fun. I'll go on the record saying that I play her a lot less than I used to, just because I liked farming kids with owls. But she's kind of brought that double support back. We see a lot of Tyrande, Uther, Tyrande, even maybe Alex. I don't know. You name it. Where do you think she stands?
Did we just die? Did I just die?
You're
You
back,
died.
Marche, you back?
I'm flag F.
I think we're good.
I'm okay now. Yeah, no, she definitely has like single-handedly ushered in a new era of double support, I think. Which then gives power creep to healers like Ana, who deny the double support comps and kind of that kind of thing. And then there have even been some more like small health buffs and stuff to other supports too. I think like we're just slowly moving back in that direction. Like the pendulum swung away from double support, and now it's kind of going back.
Yeah.
It's also easy. That's
Yeah, it's
double
super
support will
easy.
always be a thing because it's so brain dead to win with double support. You literally run at your opponents, hope that they don't have macro sense and split push, and play the game away from you, and then you just win every duel. You take too much damage, but you just heal it all up, because a lot of supports now have kind of mechanisms where they don't run out of mana maybe not a lot, but like the white main, she literally cannot run out of mana if she's played properly. Her level 4 talent gives her infinite mana. A Decker Kane, he's got crazy sustain as well. Tyrande's healing output and her mana bar as well is usually pretty fine. So a lot of those supports just work super well in that situation. And yeah, it just makes it so easy to play with the double support. And that's why I think it'll always be a thing. But I'm glad that Ana has seen some creep, because she shuts it down hard. We've seen a bunch of like healing reduction on Deckard to counter it as well. Healing reduction on Malthael, that sort of stuff, as it always
Even a little bit more Azul coming into the meta recently.
Oh god.
Which is partially due to that, partially due to other shifts.
The other thing about Tyrande is like now her healing numbers are legit. Like I think people can unanimously agree that she is a viable solo support.
Yeah.
Like the numbers she can put out are straight up sometimes higher than other supports, like straight up healers. But on top of that, she brings all the utility still. She still brings the stun. She still brings the insane vision. She still brings the hunter's mark. And then late game, she honestly kind of becomes an assassin if you play her right. Like she does insane damage numbers.
The auto style,
so, yeah, I don't know. I mean, as a Tyrande fan, I'm happy to see her being played a bunch, but I don't know how healthy that is for the meta. Especially
it's also
for
like a
people who aren't
Murd
double
and
support.
Diablo meta, right?
Yeah, which is a Tyrande meta essentially.
Exactly.
True. That's a good point. Yeah, she's an interesting spot, but let's kind of shift into, that's the fastest I've ever been able to shift away from Tyrande, yay me, into Brightwing, talking about supports, right? So she got her rework. I think it was, she was one of my most needed. Actually, she was my number one the whole game of heroes that needed to rework, just because talent diversity was non-existent. She just felt like she had no identity. And now we've got this Brightwing with, Emerald Wind no longer providing more healing, so we're seeing more Blink Heal being viable. We've got, she obviously has the built-in heal on her Z, which is super impactful. We've got multiple builds, I think, that are viable, maybe not the highest level, but I don't know if you guys ever play the silent style, and I have no idea what GM plays if Q build is a thing. But it's like in some situations, it's super interesting. It's like hyper utility with basically 2-second cooldown, 1 second silence, then on the Q, and if you hit the center circle, and then you got the W poly. So you can basically full silence anyone for like 5 seconds, more or less. Yeah. But where do you think she stands?
Honestly, when I first saw like the spotlight of the upcoming reworks of both Brightwing and Kerrigan, I was like, Brightwing seems like the obvious winner here. Brightwing is probably going to come out like OP, and that wasn't the case at all. If anything, she kind of felt, she felt like a little bit better for sure compared to old Brightwing, but she still fell into those same traps, which is like against burst damage, she sucked. Against like chain CC, she sucked. But against like sustained damage, she's definitely feels a lot better. In GM, they're definitely not really playing the silence build, like the Q build. And as far as talent diversity goes, her level 1 talent, I think you still need to go hyper shift, especially since they added such a huge heal to her Z. It just makes it even more necessary to like reduce the cooldown on her Z. And then she even got some buffs after the fact. Like she's gotten like another balance update since her rework because she still wasn't really performing. And I see her work sometimes in Hero League for me, in my experience at least, but like still the same issues where like burst CC and burst damage comps still just wreck her. She can't heal through them.
She has 0 snap heal. She can deal with burst spell damage with her pixie dust,
a lot
right?
Now too.
Preemptive, you see it coming, you can deal with it, but it's more. I think there's more burden on the support because that has to be preemptive. You have to be expecting it, deny the damage before it happens, rather than deal with the damage once it's there, right? And Uther throws a Q halfway through the burst, he's set. But yeah, no, I agree. And like her Z, it's still such a huge wind up, right? I think, and I like what you said about her, where you think at level 1 you have to go the cooldown reduction on her Z. I think the only way that you can ever challenge that in competitive Brightwing at level 1 is make it so that her Z is like half the cast time, almost instant or something, right? Let her get in there more quickly for the smaller heal at the sacrifice of the additional healing you get from it, and at the sacrifice of the cooldown reduction. Otherwise, that is just gonna no-brainer be the talent you get every single time.
I think she is going to be seen in competitive play. I have no way of knowing this, but just the way that you can single-handedly beat a team if you have a strong macro setup or on a specific map with a healer like Brightwing, similar to what we've seen historically in HOTS. I think she's going to be able to satisfy that same condition. Yeah, she doesn't have the insane burst healing and stuff like that, but the 30% heal is crazy. Like, it's so good. It's like a small ancestral heal on every single one of her shifts. And yeah, I think the shift build is super good. She's able to influence 1v1s across the map. You can play the Brightwing bomb style with a Genji, that sort of stuff. I think that she's really good personally.
Well, but, yeah, let me clarify. What I was talking about was strictly for like ladder. I can't speak to like her viability in competitive. And I think I could imagine her being pretty successful and competitive because she is definitely more macro intensive as a hero, just as a global hero already. And then if we do see double support, I feel like she's kind of perfect for that kind of setup.
Her W is like it's a small heroic. Her W is seriously one of the best abilities in the game, I find. It's so insane. It shuts down Zeratals, it shuts down Genjis, it shuts down Tracers, it shuts down Kerrigans. It's so good against those divey heroes which have just run rampant in the meta for so long. And I do think that she's going to have a place. We'll just have to see. I'm 100% with Marche, where I looked at the 2 changes and I'm like, I have to see what's going to happen with Kerrigan. They're messing with her shields and stuff like that. I'm not sure where she's going to be, but she looks like she was good before, and this is, I think, a bit of a buff. So she's obviously going to be good now, but to me, it looked like Brightwing was going to just eat so hard. But yeah, I think Brightwing's stronger. Just not 100% sure where she lies. I think she's a viable pick, though.
She's my new Tyrande. I think she's the most fun support to play in the game. When you go blink heal in particular, just because the way that you save people's lives is so active. Blinking to a target to provide the poly and the pixie dust for the retreat, rather than just throwing a heal at someone, or like throwing, you know, the heal and then a moonfire to, yay, I hit the moonfire, they're healed up, good. It just feels way more active. You always have to watch the map. She's super fun and fluid, but she does. I'm glad they gave her these tools, like having the cleanse on her kit on a big cooldown. It's no pre-cleanse, but it's still gonna feel really good in a lot of situations, right? She also has timeout, something that Malfurion does not have anymore. No more ice block, right? She can phase out. Short, was it 20-second cooldown? She gets a 0.75 invuln window, but that's, you know, again, that kind of promotes more of this blink heal style play where you're going to dodge the stun, blink away kind of stuff, which feels just super fun, super fluid, super active. And maybe she'll get some more love with the buffs, because again, her healing output compared to the supports that are at the top of the ladder right now is just not even remotely comparable, which is why I think she will oftentimes fill the second healer role. And I guess like the last point I want to hear you guys' opinions on with Brightwing is when they did the big support apocalypse, we'll call it, like a year ago, I guess. It's already been like a year now, where they just kind of took all the supports to get rid of double support and they nerfed them. And one of the big things that they specifically targeted was any kind of wave clear that supports have. Moonburn, Malfurion, gone. You know, Rexar's the only one that still has any kind of comparable damage, but even in this most recent patch, he can no longer W on minions anymore. So now you'd have to commit to a totem minions, which is a little sad. But wave clear on supports is just not a thing. And Brightwing being the one global support, should she have the option to be the global for the team, and mainly to influence the draft with her in that kind of environment, and would that be good or bad?
I don't know if I want like my Brightwing leaning against the Dahaka whole game. But I get what you're trying to say. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. What do you think, Gala?
No, definitely not. There are times where she can obviously phase shift onto the off lane and look to make a play. But then a lot of the times, like in the HEC environment, the offlaner will always if Brightwing's on the red team, blue team offlaner will always know that if you enter into a skirmish, that's always the potential at being a 1v2. So in a meta where already you literally just want to sit on your gates and farm minions because the offlane is so boring, it's going to just make it so that they're not going to skirmish even harder. So I don't think that will ever really happen.
But hear me out. Double support with Brightwing, draft Brightwing as a solo laner.
No.
You think so?
No, dude.
Make it happen, chat. Go to your Hero League games tonight.
You're promoting toxin comps right now, dude. Yeah, I think that the way that she should be played now is identical to the way that she's always been played.
All right, fair enough. Kerrigan, double ravage on her kit, shorter range, bunch of other changes. Ultralisk can stun. Where does the new Kerrigan sit in the meta, and why is she amazing?
Yeah, I mean, the big thing was her shield amount. She pretty much has second health bars. The double ravage is a super nice change. I like that a lot, actually. She's still not, especially with the most recent like balances changes to her that like kind of nerfed her. I don't know if she's OP by any means, but she's kind of always been the same way, where like if the Kerrigan player is good, then she's a monster. But if Kerrigan player doesn't know what they're doing or doesn't know how to predict enemy movements, then she falls flat. On top of that, like there are answers to her. Like you can just draft CC, like a Diablo frontline owns her, a Brightwing kind of owns her, kind of. But yeah, overall, I'm happy with the changes because I'm a big Kerrigan fan. I think they were good.
Most recently, what, they dropped her shielding by like 5%.
Yeah.
On assimilation, and then increased her health by like 80 or something like that. But yeah, after her kind of tune-up phase, or I guess fixing phase, she isn't as strong, but I think she's better than what she was before. Before the nerfs and before she was one of those niche power picks on certain maps. I think she's absolutely terrifying. I would be very surprised if teams didn't play her in HGC if she remains in the same state or at BlizzCon. She always just has the potential when there's, no Medivhs and stuff like that on the enemy team, or if it's a heavy rotate map like something like Dragon or Tomb of the Spider Queen. I think that she could be super powerful.
I hate Medivh.
I know you do. We all do.
Who
He's
doesn't?
Such a joke, dude.
God, yeah, he's so. It's rough. It's rough.
Hey, you want
sorry.
a fast-paced game? Let's just
I'm
shield
sorry.
everybody in Portal
I
away.
have no problem saying that. I hate Medivh. And come to my stream and you'll hear me say it 50 times.
There's not a single person who likes Medivh.
The interaction
I
mean, yeah, you're talking about his like survivability and his escapability and all the bullshit he can just kind of let your team get away with. But then you have to think about the bird that's going to give you permavision and deny you from ever being able to make a play ever. Watching that shit just float over my team and or even HGC, watching the bird just like, by the way, you want to make a cool play? You want to find your way back into the game? You literally can't do that. Have fun. It's like, no, dude.
All right. Sorry, I've derailed this a little bit. Okay.
No, this is
about
right
hero
on path,
reworks.
buddy.
This is what
Let's
TownHall is
smash that
all
bird to the
about. No,
ground.
seriously. Like, give his bird form a time limit, right? Like, legit.
Oh my God.
Like, do something to that. Like, reduce his impact on the map. Make it so that he can only fly for 20 seconds. And then he has to wait for 10 and fly back out, right? Do something to reduce his stupid survivability, his invincibility, and his constant impact on the map.
Jim.
It's bullshit. No, it's just shit and lazy design. And I mean, I don't play the hero. I'm not a high-level player, but I watch that shit. And I'm like, nothing about that is fun. Nothing about that is interesting. Nothing about that is compelling. I don't want to play against it. I don't want to watch it.
It is some hot BS, dude. I'm 100% with you. There's so many times in Hero League where I'll land the dankest corruption on a Medivh, and he's like, oh, but I have bird form. And he just goes into bird form and cleanses himself. Or he just, like, cleanses himself of a pulse bomb by going into bird form, too. It's like, you throw a pyro at him, he's like, but it is Medivh, in fact, who dodges the fucking pyro blast, right? Like, yeah, screw Medivh.
Yeah, and like we get this sick Kerrigan rework. I get to play my girl Kerrigan again. Medivh gets drafted. Oh, you can't play your hero anymore.
Feels bad, man.
I remember when that
happened.
When Schwimpy ran Kerrigan against Psalms. Sorry, when Schwimpy ran Medivh against Psalms Kerrigan at BlizzCon, and Psalms like, no, it's perfectly fine. Like, don't worry about it. Like, and I was like, dude, but he's just going to follow you around, shield every single one of your engages. He's like, if he's holding shield for my engages, then his hero's worthless. I'm like, I don't think you get it. Your hero is the worthless. You'll literally never get an engage against this hero. You'll find it sick combo, and then this little thing called Protected's going to show up, and you're not going to be able to play Heroes of the Storm. They got absolutely destroyed in that game.
Feels bad, man.
Feels bad, man.
His impact is just a little bit too safe and consistent is, I guess, what I'm trying to say. There should be a risk to that constant reward. And I think putting a timer on his bird form would be a great way to do it. Think of Diva's boost as her mobility, right? She's super slow, but she's got a second health bar that she can get away with a lot of bullshit, right? But she can't mount up normally, and then she boosts. That's her movement. Maybe his bird form should be something similar, and that's just my 2 cents on the hero. I know we're not supposed to talk about Medivh, but cool to hear that you guys like the new Kerrigan. I think she'll find her way. Maybe not. Maybe this isn't the right meta for her. Maybe it is. But I think it's going to be super fun to. I think Kerrigan will absolutely see play at BlizzCon, right?
I think so. Yep, I do. Yeah. I mean, she has to throughout all the group stage plus finals. I feel like she has to.
I think so.
We'll see.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, cool. I think she will. Are there any other like big hero changes that happened in the last month-ish that I'm not thinking of? Or anyone that entered the meta in a big way that wasn't in the meta that we should talk about?
We haven't talked about Mephisto at all since the show was
on. Oh, that's a good point.
A hero.
Where does he stand at the highest level?
I love Mephisto. I think he's really good. I think his damage potential is insane.
W build?
He's really fun to play.
Like, is that the only way?
Oh, Q build is the hot fire
Really?
right now. Yeah. Just the infinite cooldown reduction you get out of that. It's nuts.
It turns on at like 13 or 16.
Turns on at like level 7 if you finish the quest fast enough.
Oh.
But it just gets progressively stronger and stronger. Yeah. Overall, I think super fun hero and very relevant mage. His wave clear kind of sucks, but his team fight is insane.
I've played a bunch of him now as well and played in games with a lot of Mephistos, and I think he suffers from Junkrat syndrome, where you can do unbelievable amounts of damage, but securing a kill despite even consumed souls is super tough. You run a Diablo against Mephisto and he's just going to laugh at you. Like, you go in on Diablo, it's like, okay, I'll just get a regen globe and stop your entire engagement. Like, none of it matters. It's not like meaningful damage. So if you have heroes that can conclude kills like Genji's and stuff like that, then his damage becomes super relevant, because not only do you chunk out super hard, but then it enables your other dive heroes to secure kills. But yeah, I've had so many games where I've encroached on or approached the 200,000 hero damage mark, but had like 3 kills, and then we just got farmed the whole game. You know, I've had similar games on Junkrat where the same thing happens, just because the hero can't get those kills sometimes. And that's basically my thoughts on him too. But
so
in situations where he can secure kills, man, he's crazy.
Consume Souls is global, guaranteed damage on everyone, super cool, but it definitely seems to have less of an impact when it comes to like that mage hyper carry. Durance of Fate seems way better to me on paper. What do you guys think is the better heroic and for the average situation, right?
I think Consume is definitely the go-to still, but Blizzard really wants Durance of Hate to be a thing, and I think they've succeeded, because the 60-second cooldown on that heroic is actually really good. It makes it relevant and a viable option, especially if you're against like a Genji and a Variant who are both going to protect your consumed souls every time or something like that. That's just an example. Also, Durance's level 20 upgrade is probably one of the strongest level 20 upgrades in the game. And getting to late game on certain maps is a real possibility, and then you can kind of spec for that. Because, yeah, late game, if you land one big Durance that spreads on even 2 or 3 people, that's another way of shutting down a double support comp. Like the silence that comes afterwards, or just you just win in that team fight. Like, you can't group against level 20 Mephisto with Durance upgrade. But yeah, I think go-to generally is still Consume Souls.
I think so as well, because a lot of the times when you use Durance, you use it as an engage tool, but Consume Souls just seems better as an engage tool because of the slow it provides globally across all enemy heroes. So it gives your teammates time and space to get those engages. The other thing is if you are using your shade to go in and then cast Durance, you're losing almost all of your time on that shade, where you can be, you know, chunking out maybe % damage with your W, getting your Q running, getting some autos in, that sort of thing. So it feels like if you're using your E and then Durance, it's kind of like a waste of Durance in a sense, because you can't actually follow up on the damage that you're setting up. So that's the one thing that I found with E plus Durance. However, if a team engages onto you, you land a dank Durance, and then you get out of the fight, and then you come back in, your W is there, you're already there. You can do some really cool stuff that way.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Fun hero, though.
Yeah, I've only just started playing him myself. I didn't buy him right away. Kind of waited from the price reduction, and I've been having an absolute blast with him. He seems super fun. Just in general, but okay, you know, that's for the most part the hero changes that have happened in the last while. There's obviously a lot of other stuff we could talk about in terms of like who's risen up in the meta, balance patches, because it's been so long since we've had a show, but we're trying to stick to core topics tonight, and there is a lot to discuss. So we're going to kind of shift over to talk about maps, and I do want to start with the changes to Hanamura, which, again, these aren't necessarily maps that are affecting HGC and the and ladder as often as since the map pool is so big. But Hanamura got re-released. We've got the obviously you guys know the siege camp exists now. You've got all the reworks with the vision and the vision camps being. I think that's kind of awkward. I think we might have talked about this in the last show we did, in fact, or maybe that was just during HGC or some other show. I have no idea. Oh, that was during Brawl of the Blues, excuse me. That I was on that talking about the way that the Vision camp is 3 minions. I think it's just kind of awkward. It doesn't seem like you should kill 3 minions then get a watchtower. It doesn't really thematically make sense to me. But Kala, since I haven't heard you talk about the map at all, how do you feel about Hanamura?
Starting off with those vision camps, I think the XP trade for them is too high. I think the cap's like almost 600 experience, something like that, or in the realm of 600 experience. So it seems like a lot of the incentives on the map promote you having a straight up jungler, somebody who roams around and just picks up these camps. I think the map in itself is, like, I think it's tragic. I think it's awful. I think it's super bad, to be completely honest. And it's this beautiful area, but it's just this giant wide open void with nothing to do. Like there's, you know, what do you do on the map? Do you just pick up camps and like try to force skirmishes over these arbitrary things that are placed on the map? Like there's literally nothing to do on the map. There's no way you set up the map for rotations. There's no like, there's nothing going on Hanamura that's fun or interactive for anybody. Like I love the, you know, I'm the hyper weeb. You guys know that. You guys are too, right? So you go to Hanamura, yeah, it's pretty sick.
Give me them cherry blossoms.
There's actually nothing that occurs on the map, unfortunately, and I think that it needs a complete overhaul. Turn it into a big 3-lane map or something like that. I believe with the changes that they've made in terms of the actual objective, they have done a lot of good for the map, but as far as it ever making it into the HGC, that is so far off, it's not even funny. Like it's just so far from a competitive map, and it's unfortunate.
I mean,
that's
well
basically
said.
Where I'm at.
Honestly, I think bringing the payload down to just the single payload, the way that interaction works, feels better for what they're trying to accomplish, right? They're trying to honor what Overwatch is. It's going to be a little bit more consolidated gameplay in terms of like there's going to be a team fight around the objective. Let's all go there. I feel like it feels more cohesive for just quick match in general, because that's where obviously you would play it. You'd play it in that kind of environment. I have been having a better experience with it than before, but I agree. When I hit, I'm not like, yeah, boys, we got Hanamura, let's play. I'm like, okay, we're dealing with Hanamura. Here we go. You know, so I think it's an upgrade, but you're right, 100%. Not the decision making. It's there, right? It's straightforward. Oh look, a window. We're gonna grab our siege camp. We're gonna grab our turret. It's very safe to do that. The end. There's no neutral points to contest really, except the watchtowers, which Marche, anything you want to say about it?
No.
Okay. No. All right.
I mean, like, the Watchtower thing, by the way, I think they toned back the experience a bit. I don't actually know how much they've actually changed it, but they did address that a little bit, you know, to Blizzard's credit. Also, yeah, I don't really have that much to say about the map just because it's not in ranked and I don't really play anything besides ranked. But I feel like, yeah, you guys pretty much covered most of it. It does feel like it just lacks, I don't know, just macro game in general.
It's not there. You're right. It's and that's a problem for a lot of maps. Let's be honest, right? If the jungle doesn't exist, then it's not there. Let's shift to Garden of Terror, which got a bigger rework, and we can cite just kind of the general community debate. One, it's just a copy of Cursed Hollow. You collect 3 tributes, you get the objective, and you get the advantage of the objective like Cursed Hollow. That's how it works now. Before, it was unique in the sense that you collected seeds and it's all or nothing, and you get the boss to march in. Personally, I thought the map was, I'll be British for a second, I'll say rubbish because it's kind of a neutral, non-offensive word. It was rubbish, a little bit Baker here on the show, because it was not good. And although now the concept is not interesting, I think the map is way better designed, way more interesting overall, and we'll go into specifics in a minute. Kala, no, we'll start with Marche. Marche, what do you think?
Honestly, I haven't played it once since the rework. I've just watched it a lot, here and there, and
well, here only, so yeah.
Yeah, but I agree though that it was rubbish. I hated playing that map back in the day, and I can't imagine it's any worse. And I'm all for them kind of like unifying like the objectives, or kind of like copy. People will complain that it's copying Tomb or Cursed Hollow, but like I'm okay with that. Like Cursed Hollow is my favorite map. I like Teemo Spider Queen. Like if more objectives are similar but maybe just slightly different here and there, like I'm fine with that. Instead of some like wildly radical change for every map that just ends up breaking the map, like, and not being fun to play. Like I'm not about that.
So Marche is giving thumbs up for.
I'm giving thumbs up to that because that's so damn true. It's not even funny. I saw the same response on Reddit. They're like, "Oh, this map is just a copy of Alltrack Pass and Cursed Hollow," and I'm like, "Isn't that a good thing? Don't you want similarities to teach the player base? Like, isn't that something that you would actually enjoy to see?" And it's also, a mix of Tomb of the Spider Queen. Very similar. You got the web weavers coming down basically, but it's the garden terrors. It's very, very similar about those. It's very, very similar to those maps. And when I saw that, I was like, this is sick, because people will play this map in quick match, and when they come into Hero League, perhaps they will have some brief, like some idea, even if they've never played, maybe, or maybe not never, but haven't played a whole lot of Alltrack Pass or Cursed Hollow or something like that. The map will still at least teach you similar ideas. And number two, the objective is actually very strong. So it punishes these players that just want to run down and do nothing all game, or just play their Sylvanas and farm camps. They will lose the game hard, because the objective will straight up take 3 of your forts the first time, and then you'll be down a 3-level deficit, and you won't know what hit you. So I actually really like what they did with Garden of Terror. Would I like to see it in the HGC? I would have to say no, because yeah, I mean, why would we see that map when we could see Alltrack? Or why would we see that map when we've already got something like Cursed Hollow and Tomb already in it?
Braxis, right? If we're going to compare it to something like Braxis, I think it's a way better map.
I said Braxis put in Alltrack.
Okay. We'll go down that road in a minute. Let's stay on Garden of Terror. And I like some of the things I like is obviously it's a map with no boss. And there's a lot of merc camps. You've got it's 2 easy camps per side, so a total of 4 easy camps and 2 hard camps, I believe, with no boss, which is 6 camps total, which is great. They opened up the bruiser camp. They changed that entire layout, and I think it's a really compelling thing because it's invadable. Before, I feel like it was pretty easy to just kind of do that solo, but now if there's ever a rotation, if say you're on the blue side, the left-hand side of the map, you're doing the bottom hard camp, that could be invaded on fairly easy if there's any rotation happening between mid and bottom, and that's a really good thing in my opinion. And also there's that whole awkward area where the bosses used to spawn, but that creates a really interesting wall where when it comes to fighting around, if you're trying to invade that point, it's tough, but it kind of increases the viability of heroes like Stitches. Hooks are really big in those instances if they're you're fighting over the objective, and I think there's some pretty cool stuff as a result based on just the layout of the map. And I don't know if that's true for Alltrack as much. I mean, maybe. I don't like the mud. I think that's my thing. That's my beef.
Alltrack suffers from kind of a similar thing as Hanamura in that there's very little to do outside of the phases of the objective, though the objective phases do go very quickly. I think Alltrack needs quite a bit of tuning, honestly, but I feel like they have put in enough thought, with those mud pits. I know you would disagree, but with the mud pits, with the reavers, with a lot of these different mechanics, that it creates a very interesting atmosphere. And it could be just the classic WoW nut of me loving Alltrack Valley. It could be that for sure, but I think that Alltrack Pass has a lot of potential, and I think that it gets a very bad rep from the community's perspective just because it hasn't gotten the tuning that it needs. And I think with a little bit of tuning, the map could be sick.
I'm just going to kind of reiterate what Dunk had said about the map when it first came out. And like, there's good points, right? The double boss is something I wish more maps had bosses. I think bosses are super compelling, and they're a power spike where you can opt to maybe sacrifice, concede the objective. And also, although I think Hanzo's kind of busted on that front of being able to farm bosses, I think it's interesting to consider part of your PvE damage in your draft as part of the composition and part of your strategy. However, the normal camp, we'll call them the hoggers, they're so freaking safe to take. And I
Yeah.
dislike that immensely. I think that is a huge design flaw. I think that needs to be a camp that can always be considered to be invaded, or there needs to be more camps or something, because without that element in the game, the macro is non-existent.
I agree with that. The hoggers are definitely just, it's boring, right? But there's no chance that they'll ever get taken from you. It's just a matter of like picking them up at all, which like, yeah, that's, I don't know. It's not very engaging.
They've got a low respawn time. They shred armor. They will farm your structures.
Oh, yeah,
they're so beefy, dude. I mean,
Yeah.
they are hoggers, so it's verified, but
it's 3 of the fire bats, right? Or hell bats.
Yeah. And yeah, a lot of people say that you couldn't see play in HGC and stuff like that because it's not tuned. But when Volskaya went into HGC, it was so bad. It's
so
not
bad.
even funny.
Remember
But
when Protector wasn't relevant?
XD. But yeah. And then they made it so that, or sorry, being in the HGC means that it got a lot of flame. Like it was under the, basically everybody was seeing how bad it was.
It was
so
under the
got
magnifying
changed.
glass, right? Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. So similar thing could happen to Alltrack as well. I just really want Alltrack to be good. That's all, because I think, man, the art assets on that map is so damn sick.
I'm
And
right
just
there with you.
The feel of it is so cool.
we're gonna talk about Blizzcon a little bit later, but if we don't see a second Warcraft map at Blizzcon, I'm gonna be the angriest nerd at the entire convention. I'm gonna fight people because we've got 2 StarCraft, 2 Overwatch, 2 Diablo. I demand a second Warcraft map.
I'd be
Damn it.
very surprised if
Yeah.
if there wasn't one around that corner.
Yeah, I think so.
I would too. I want one. What would you guys like to see? Warsong Gulch,
We'll come-
Alltrack, or sorry,
All right.
Arathi?
No, we're on the map talk. We may as well do it here. Marche, what do you think?
Oh yeah, I mean I'm down with any of those. Any battleground you can honestly copy paste into Heroes, I'm down with, and then even something more like PvE thematic, like Culling of Stratholme or that kind of thing. That'd be really cool. I think it'd be really cool to see.
I think I'd like to
This is
see
third map.
just kind of 2 other races, like
Yeah.
like undead, where
Yeah.
it's like all decaying, and then night elves where it's like vibrant, beautiful forests kind of colliding. And just kind of talking about game design, when you have to build 2 polar opposite sets, it's more expensive, takes more time, harder to implement in the game, right? When they do that, I only know that because when they first did the Diablo map where it's heaven and hell, that was something that was hard for them to do. So they've obviously done it before, but I think that would be a really cool, very polar opposite, because Alltrack, the map more or less is the same. It's just the buildings that are different, right? In the units, but this would be like split down the middle, dead and alive, which would be cool.
Yeah, I would love to see some undead versus insert race here kind of map. I'd lose my mind.
It'd be cool, man. Okay. Lastly, when I read this, I wasn't sure about the wording, and I'm curious how you guys perceive it. And I don't know if Blizzard said anything officially, but Haunted Mines is being removed from all game modes, which means it's left in custom, but it's gone. This is a map they have reworked. It's on its 3rd iteration. It's been reworked at least twice. It's been removed from the pool, reintroduced, brought back in, and it's just never really worked out. And I've been asking for this map to be deleted for a long time because, frankly, when you have a second map on top of a map where a lot of abilities just don't interact with each other and you have to go through a portal, it's just there's so many characters that just don't feel good, right? Pyroblast, by the way, I'm going through the portal. Good ability, man. And there's a million other ones that kind of fit in the same. Can Medivh fly in the downstairs? I have no idea.
No.
Right.
Or he can, but he can't fly over the little walls,
but
obviously, because it's messy.
It's just there's just so many weird things in that map in general, and yeah, good riddance. It's gone, and hopefully forever.
Yeah. I've logged enough games into that map to where I'm okay with being done with it forever. I mean, I don't know. But yeah, I think just from Alpha, I have definitely 1K plus games on that map. I
Same.
paid my dues on that map. I'm cool with seeing it gone forever. In fact, when that news broke, I was like, I forgot about it 10 minutes later. I really couldn't care less about that map.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're only playing Hero League, right? But I like grind quick match Hero games and all this other stuff, and so I still have to play it. Yeah, I still have to play it. And
yeah, I haven't played it in ages.
Oh, Bakery's. Oh, why are you awake, Bakery?
2 lanes upstairs.
Dude, my biggest problem with that map is it was in quick match rotation, and it literally taught players to not soak XP. You go down to this mines, you miss the greatest resource in the entire game by sitting in an area where you cannot get experience. It is so stupid. If they wanted to rework that map, they need to make it so there's like a lane underneath or something like that, so you can actually get experience while you're looking for the objective, or at least be remotely close to experience. On maps where you actually have to go into the jungle for the objective, like Cursed Hollow, the tribute is in the jungle, sure, but you can always dip into that side lane if the waves crash, or have one person dip into it. It's not like you're gonna have somebody just like, oh, I'm going out of the mines and I'm gonna go sit in the freaking lane while my team's all underneath. Like, stuff like that is so bad for teaching the community how important experience and soaking minion waves is.
No,
that's true. That's a very good point.
You're right, and the word you used, messy, is perfect, because that's what the map is. The experience is messy. It's one of the original maps, right? It was an early concept for the game, and this is kind of going off on a tangent. If they want to do that kind of thing where there's multiple levels, I've said this for a long time too. StarCraft, Dota, you name it. All these games have like a high ground where vision changes. Maybe tinker with that idea. Right, it's something they've always been very resistant to, or for whatever reason. I think maybe they're worried the player base doesn't understand their field of view in bushes properly. Maybe low-level players don't acknowledge the fact that when you position 2 feet over in a bush, your vision changes totally. But the high ground obviously works in a similar manner. I don't know. I think that could be a compelling thing to bring to a map. Especially if they want to put merc camps up on a higher tier or whatever, a lower tier. But yeah, bye bye Haunted Mines. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm cool with seeing it go.
Same. I think we can. It's unanimous. You can get rid of the mines.
Excellent. So now we're kind of shifting over to talk about esports, and then we'll talk a little bit more about BlizzCon expectations in general. And whatever else, but I think we're gonna start just kind of talking about. I guess we'll start something a little bit more positive in Crucible. We know the results. Kyle and I were there for NA, and between NA and EU, we had a team move forward from either side. But that does mean that Simplicity is Gonzo. And that's kind of a big deal for North America, considering Zuna, CAF, K1, a lot of names that have BlizzCon champions in the mix are no longer in there and teamless and or looking for new teams. We get surprised about that result.
That's what I was going to ask you guys. You guys have been following Scythe through Open Division, so I was wondering if that was an upset to you, or if you guys kind of expected that.
I kind of expected it personally.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Scythe definitely had everything that they needed in order to make it an HGC, and they proved it. They really did. We already went over a bit of our...
Hold on. It's going to break everything, but whatever. We're adding Bakery.
Oh, is he coming?
He wants to.
Get him in here.
Did he not get added?
Yeah, Scythe kicked ass. That's basically...
They deserve the spot more than the other team.
Yep.
More than anyone. Well, this really ruins production, but that's fine.
Hello. This is fine.
Hi,
Hey,
Bakery.
man.
This is fine, Forehead.
Should I cam? Should I do it?
Should.
Yeah, it's not going to help anything, but do it. You guys each... There we go. Look at this
Hey.
guy. Oh, yeah.
Hey.
Oh, he's
The whole
got the
time,
turn up.
baby.
Beautiful.
How you been, man? What's good?
I've been good,
I saw on
This is
LinkedIn
great.
you got
I'm
a
just
you got a
acting
new
move.
position at Dignitas.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of public yet, but I thought I'd put it on LinkedIn anyway. So
Okay. Well, congrats regardless.
But yeah, things are good, man. It's like 5 a.m. here, but I'm still awake for some reason. So, that's how that is.
The struggle. All right, Bakery. I know it's 5 a.m. for you, which is definitely the mega struggle. You wanted to pitch your Haunted Mines. Why do you want them to rework the map a third time? Why?
One more time, dude.
Oh,
One more time. They've got it this time. I believe in them. So here's my idea, right? Super hot take. So you've got like the upstairs, and you just keep that basically the same as it is, but you remove the sappers because why are they there? Let's be honest. You put in like, I don't know, one hogger or whatever it is instead. And it has like a 30-second timer, so it's basically just a way to like, if you have lane control, it makes it easier for you to push. It makes lane control important. And then downstairs, you have like 2 more lanes. So you need kind of 4 heroes to like soak the lanes, and then you can have 1 person kind of jungling / like pushing. So it becomes like an actual fun map where you actually have to commit people somewhere, and every time you commit someone to some place on the map, you are losing something. So it's very unique in that aspect. You've got your 2 lanes downstairs, right? And these have like shamblers on both sides. You have like your blue shamblers, and you have like your red ones, and they fight each other. And then they give XP as well. So the map is supposed to kind of play out like that. And I think you need to put like I don't know, maybe like a 6 sapper camp, or like maybe it's like a 6 samurai. Sappers? Yeah, maybe it's like a samurai. You need to put some big objective that spawns in the middle, and that's on like it spawns at 6 minutes in, and it's on like a 6-minute timer, right? So you cap it once, it just goes 6 minutes. Downstairs in the mines, instead of having cores or forts, you just have golems. And as soon as you kill the golems, and they're kind of easy to kill, so if you just 5-man it at like level 7, you can probably get it down in like 20 seconds. And as soon as you do that, like the other golem like pops upstairs, right? And both cores become vulnerable. They're like invulnerable until you kill the golems. So you can do that at like 20 minutes, and it's like a really strong push. Or you can do it at like 5 minutes, and it's a really weak push, but like the cores are vulnerable, And then that's kind of the map. That's just how it plays. What do you guys think? Yeah?
Yeah. Maybe it could be cool, but it doesn't teach you anything about the game.
Of course it does. It teaches you all about map pressure and like camp timings and like events, So like
it teaches people how to roll Sylvanas and farm in the mines and never contribute, because that's what would happen, I think.
Too many things splitting people's ideas. I'm kind of with you, Jake. I feel like yeah, you'd have people just literally all over the map. Some people downstairs, some people upstairs, some people I don't even know what other stairs you'd have, but I don't know. It could be scary. Unless
tough crowd, dude.
I don't know.
Stop trying to make Haunted Mines a thing.
You are super trying to make
that's kind of where I'm at. Like I'm so done with the map. I'm ready for it to be gone. And
okay, yeah, I see how it is. But the one thing I will say is kind of the point of what I tried to do with my 10-minute thought about idea is that I think Blizzard need to do something different with the next maps. Because let's be honest, we kind of have everything in the game now. If you think of every conventional idea that's normal, it's kind of already in the game. And they've come out with like 3 get an objective and 3 things marked down the lane maps in a row now. Like, probably need to do something different. Hanamura, it's just Blackheart's Bay again. Like, it's the same objective. Sky Temple's kind of the same as well. Who knows what's going on there? So, I think we probably need a map that's out there, introduces something new, and maybe it never makes it to ranked, and maybe that's okay, and maybe it just gets chucked in the Brawl playlist,
Man,
If it doesn't work out, chuck it in a Brawl playlist.
The Brawl
People still
idea,
play.
I would definitely give it a play, right? If that was a Brawl map and they just turned Haunted Mines into a 2-lane map in a Brawl where maybe it does have that new idea to it or something, sure, could be cool. But for a standard map, I don't know. It sounds interesting, but I guess I'm so sick of these like weird maps. I would just want more traditional things at this point.
people always hard flame me for saying that Warsong could work as a capture the flag map. I actually
In a
think
MOBA?
yeah, I think it could work. We already have the mechanic of picking up items. You would just need to set some restrictions, or you could do something like Alltrack if we're talking about, or sorry, Arathi if we're talking about Warcraft maps, where you can maybe there's 5 points and you just need to control 3 of them to deplete your opponent's resources, that sort of thing. I think that could work super easily in HOTS, and it would be really, really fun. It's just a matter of balancing and making it actually work in the game. Just like a complete zone control map.
Would capping the flag be like Hanamura, where it does damage to the forts, like shoots?
Or would it just be points?
And
And
what
then
would the
first
points
3
earn you?
points. Just once you get to 3, you win. Game's done.
I mean, maybe.
I mean, it could be a crazy comeback, right? You're 4-0 down. 5 in a row.
Yeah, I'm not sure how it would work. I just think that it could. That's all. I'm not a map designer.
Fair enough.
I'm a simple man.
Well, and remember, guys, if it's an absolute disaster, you just chuck it in a Brawl. You know? it can't go wrong.
I feel like they don't do that easily enough. But I'm so with you, man. Speaking of brawls, why can't there be like 3v3 arena too? That'd be sick.
Why can't we just have an
Seriously.
ARAM map always?
ARAM always. A lot of people want that, I feel like. I feel like I hear that a lot now.
Yeah, because it's fun. ARAM's something you can just jump in and play with your homies. It's cool.
Yep.
You know the arenas that they have where you fight like over the one garden terrain and collect seeds and stuff?
Yeah, why isn't that 3v3 actually?
I wrote a league format for when they first revealed that at BlizzCon before Brawls became a thing that was supposed to be its own mode, the arenas. I wrote a 3v3 arena league format. I had an entire year, 6 months scheduling for a league for it, and it never came out. And I told Blizzard, I'm so sad. I was so excited for this to be like a different version of the game. Almost like what Battle Right is, right? Where Battle Right's like 3v3 arena. I thought that HOTS would translate beautifully to that.
It would.
And,
it would
I still think it would. And I wanted it so bad, dude.
You could do like a best of 5 format. First round, you're level 7. Second round, you're level 10. Third round, you're level 13 sort of thing. Or maybe 10, 16, and 20. And then all of them are at 20. Like something like that would be so cool. You pick 3 heroes, you pick your talents right out of the gates, and you just brawl. It would be so cool, dude. I talk about this with my friends all the time.
I mean,
don't
I
actually
think
have friends, but
the biggest issue with arenas, by the way, is that they just don't have talents. And talents are literally the best part of the game, I think.
Right. That's fair.
Like, I feel like if you want to fix arenas, just add talents. That's all you need to do. Like,
Yeah.
We're doing production things, boys. Trying to give Marche his little space back. There you go.
I mean, I'm cool with sharing.
Good enough.
send Marche home.
Send Marche
Bring me home.
It's kind of glowy, but it's okay.
This is cool. It's all dark now.
Huh. All right. I think that's it for maps.
There's literally 4 of me. 6 even.
oh my god.
Seems good.
Amazing. Okay. Am I piercing out, Jake, or am I staying?
That's your call, man. You're welcome to stay.
I'm down to stay, but what's going on Steam right now does not look good.
Well, I can't fix that. I don't have a graphic that supports a spontaneous fourth member, unfortunately.
Okay, just put me in the top right or something.
Okay, we'll fix this.
Just chuck me up there.
So let's start talking about esports, and let's kind of talk about I guess one of the bigger topics, which is player retirement. I guess it's, you know, it's a combination of roster apocalypse, but does anyone know what the list looks like of who has announced retirement? I mean, I saw Jin posted today. I have no idea beyond that point.
Where did our friends go?
Dude, don't worry, I'm working on it.
Are we all gone?
Okay, I have literally no inside info here, but if there are at least 20 pro players that retire, I'll pay someone money. Who wants money? Jake?
20?
Yeah, pay me money.
All right, yeah.
money.
I'm betting 20 across EU, NA, and Korea.
Post
At
BlizzCon?
least. Yeah.
Or from like the Arthalon quit or the Psalm quit?
No. Post BlizzCon.
20
You mean just straight up
players.
leave the game? Like,
Yeah.
not like switch teams, like leave the game.
20 might be pretty high.
I feel like 20 is
No.
wild, dude.
Yeah, 20 is a bit much, I think.
I was gonna say
I
will put Canadian dollars on 20.
Yeah.
Yeah? How
I
much?
put
Yes.
American ones on 20 as well.
I don't know. Don't break my bank, bakery.
I'm down for this. That's what I'm saying.
But 20 is a crazy amount.
$100 if there's 20.
Alright.
Okay, yeah, I'm with you guys. $100.
Nice, dude.
Oh,
I can't wait to have
100 is a bit
money.
too much for me, dude.
Okay.
I will do 20 for each of you.
Okay. But basically what we know so far is obviously Arthalon, Jin, Zuna has quit. Those are, I think, the ones that are standing out to me right now.
And
There's probably
I
a
think
number of other ones.
CAF basically announced as well.
he said an announcement coming, I thought.
Yeah.
I said something like that.
So that either means he's got like a dank new team or he's moving on. Big announcement soon, TM. This was October 7th, which was 10 days ago, when he lost his HGC spot competing in the Crucible. His tweet before that, what a disaster. And, you know, he's been, yeah, same day. He was playing, he's been playing a lot of Battle Royale.
it's
Punching
all
my mic
scuffed,
again.
dude.
Wow, I broke everything.
Oh yeah, JPL. How could we forget Jay?
JPL announced he's done, you know, regardless of the results. Something along the lines of he doesn't really want to play team games. He's never really been a team game player. He's seen a lot of success, had a good time, but he is ready to move on.
Jay's retirement was the one where it's like, all of this makes sense. This is 0% scuffed. Nothing weird going on. The only weird thing about Jay's obviously is, and this is his fault, but there's nothing that he can do about it if he wants to retire properly, is the fact that it will affect the other members of Dignitas no matter what way you look at it. Even though he's leaving on amicable terms and he wants to leave for a good reason, there will always be that little bug in the back of their head saying he's not with us. That will exist no matter what. They will not be able to remove that from their brains. And that will affect them in some way. Whether it's good or bad is yet to be seen. But there's no such thing as retiring before a roster period and not having that affect your team. It just doesn't exist.
Yep.
Yeah.
Though I do believe he did it the best possible way.
Let everyone know that regardless of the results, I think it's very honorable, honestly. Like he just did it the best way, like you said. Jin Switlonger is, I have not read the whole thing. I started reading and I was like, okay, I need to come back to this. I'm getting ready for TownHall to start. I just got home from work. I'm not ready for this right now. And there's expected to be a lot more, obviously, with two teams getting knocked out of HGC via the Crucible. Free agents will likely find squads and people will likely retire. It's usually just how it works.
Jin's was weird, I'll be honest. I might be the closest one with Jin out of anybody here, but yeah, the Jin retirement was weird. Just like the way that it all happened. Like Jin is, I feel like he's a good guy deep down, but then like, just publicly saying I uninstalled, who cares? Like, why would you even say that? It's just not good for the, like, why would you even add that? It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. You just say, hey, I'm no longer with this game, but like saying like, oh, I have all this juicy dirt and all this stuff. It's like, come on, man. I know that people are better than that. And I personally, like he even like shouted me out in his tweet longer saying that I was as somebody that he really respected. But I am actually super disappointed in the way that he handled his retirement. I think he could have done it way better.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, I haven't read through it, so I don't really know all the details in terms of, you know.
I actually did read it. It took a lot of effort. There was just no formatting. The points were vague at best. I really committed. I read through it. Regretted it, obviously. Really wasted everyone's time with that one. It's quite impressive.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Beyond that, do you guys have any expectations for just NA, EU, etc. going into BlizzCon this year?
I'm afraid for North America.
Yeah.
One, because of the meta that we've seen, like this. I can't use that word. Like this.
Wow.
This double support style that it's kind of just like this mindless style of playing the game, and I'm really afraid that that's all that they're going to bring. I don't think that's actually going to be all that they bring, but I'm just afraid. And I just look at those games at the top level of HGC, and I just don't see them comparing to top of career, top of EU right now. But Europe looks good. Again, I'm a little bit concerned about Dignitas just because of the dynamic of their team, but I know that they're a good enough team and headstrong enough to kind of fight past it. I'm also scared about Heroes Hearth because they're going in with a substitute player. And that it's just, they're not going to be as good as they could have been. So just all around, and of course, Vin, it's going to be his first time on a stage like that. And pretty much no matter who you are in a scenario like that, I'm pretty sure you're going to get a little bit nervous. But we'll see. What do you guys think?
I agree completely. I'm just scared. Obviously, I want NA to do well. I'm from NA. But yeah, playing with a sub, HHE, is going to definitely affect him. And then, like you said, Vin hasn't played on the stage, so hopefully he can handle that well, because I stream for Tempo. I want to see Tempo do really well.
I mean, is Vin a permanent fifth? I still haven't really okay, so they're looking to hold on to him. He's still not Psalm though. At the end of the day, right? It's still not max power for the team when you consider how long Psalm played with them and where he put there. And maybe he's filled the shoes admirably. I haven't watched HGC in a little while. Okay, but it's still like the 5 sec at the maybe their prime, maybe not, isn't there for them. Clearly, Dignitas with JPL retiring, like you mentioned, there's something in the back of their minds. They're not necessarily a true 5 sec that's sticking on moving forward past that. They are for this event, but it still could affect them mentally. Knowing Dig, probably won't. I think they'll be fine. And then yeah, Heroes Hearth, same story with Arthlon retiring kind of mid-season, which those mid-season retirements, if you didn't know, they got fined, right? They got, or at least banned, maybe not fined, but they got banned for next year. I think Arthlon's ban was longer than Psalm's though. I could be wrong.
I don't know. I don't think it really matters. I mean, Blizzard kind of have to do it, right? It's like break the rules. Yeah, don't get to come back. Kind of how that works, but it's not like they wanted to anyway. So I guess nothing they need to do in that situation. Definitely shouldn't be fining them either. That doesn't seem legal.
Yeah, I don't think they got fined. No, I misspoke there.
Stoked for BlizzCon though. I'm stoked to see all of the teams compete against each other. It's always the most exciting time for me. I just like seeing how metas shape up, and like I said, I'm afraid for NA, but I really hope that I'm wrong.
I don't think you are. So good and bad news.
Hard flame.
It's classic EU.
Yeah.
Yeah. So from my perspective, I have played Hearts recently, but I haven't seen Dig play in a while. So I think my perspective on how that team dynamic works is I think it's very possible that they play better at this event than they would have if Jay wasn't leaving. I'd say that's the most likely outcome, which is going to sound surprising to a lot of people, but it's, instead of being like an issue and it's like, oh, someone's leaving, we need to look forward to the future, this is for a lot of players on the team, this is the last hurrah. And for Jay especially, this is the last opportunity he will ever have to play Heroes of the Storm on a stage, and he knows that. So I don't think they're going to let this go to waste. I think this is the most important moment of their lives, and I think they realize that, and they're going to try really, really hard. That's my impression.
That's cool. That's good to hear.
That's best.
Having said that, I do think Gen G is really strong. I would be surprised if Gen G plays well this tournament. If they do play well, I think they'll smash it. I think it's unlikely they do, given their history as a team. Given how often internal conflict just comes out of nowhere, people get lazy, complacent, like Rich tries too hard to carry, other people get upset. I think that is more likely than them coming to the tournament actually playing up to their potential.
Do you think Miracle and Tempest are going to outperform them?
No, definitely not that far.
Okay.
Like, even if, so here's the thing, is every single tournament, they come in as the strongest team. Like, there hasn't been a tournament in the history of Heroes of the Storm, except mid-season 2017, where that Gen G lineup did not come in as the strongest team. Like, by far. They smashed everybody in scrims. If they played well, they would have won everything without dropping a game. That's just a fact. And yet, pretty much most of the tournaments, they just didn't play very well. And I think BlizzCon last year, they actually played really badly for how good they were. And they still won, and they dropped one game in the entire tournament. So that's all you need to know there. I think it's most likely they win, because even if they do play bad, I think they can win. But I think Dignitas is right up there with them. And I don't think many other people in that conversation. That's my thoughts.
No, that's definitely valid. I mean, we'll find out soon. BlizzCon is what? 2 weeks, 3 weeks away? 2.5? 2.5 weeks. Dude, that's insane.
I'm so excited.
I can't wait for BlizzCon.
16 days and BlizzCon begins. That is insane that it is that close. And I kind of wanted to transition to just kind of talk a little bit about BlizzCon in terms of what we might expect to see. Just in general, we do this every year, just kind of heroes, but then beyond. So we'll start with heroes. I'm going to just say I expect to see a Warcraft map, and after that, probably a weird hero, like a Cho'Gall type thing. What do you guys think?
Well, they usually do multiple heroes, so I expect to see at least 2. They've done 3 in the past, but they've also done 2.
They haven't done 3
if
in
we get
3 years?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, sure.
If we get a map and 2 heroes, I'm happy.
That's what I want.
That's what I want to see.
Map and 2 heroes. But I want one of the heroes to be something that is different, like the Ragnaros, like the Cho'Gall. Not necessarily, obviously, promoting 2 players on the same hero, but just something that's like, oh, that's a little different, you know? Maybe like a giant dragon that can take over a fort or something like that, and breathes chaos on the entire map. Maybe something like Deceased Wing or something. I don't know. Maybe Deathwing, right? Maybe something like that. That'd be cool. It'd be fun.
Chaos OS in chat pointed out a good thing. Role rework is a really big one that I want to see as well, actually.
What is that? Yeah. I don't even understand it.
So instead of it just being a warrior, you'll have a tank and you'll have a bruiser, and that'll be clearly labeled to make it easier for people to understand the game. Because now, you know, if you're new to the game and you see warrior, you think, okay, Sonya, I'm a main tank. Let's go, I'm a tank for my team. It doesn't really work out that way. So kind of separating them, maybe classifying the Tassadars and Medivhs as like utility or something else like that. So they haven't released a specialist in I don't know how long. It seems like that is a dead classification because they do not create specialists anymore, right? They don't do it. They just have not made a hero labeled as a specialist. So I think kind of maybe they call them, like, you know, I don't play a lot of MOBAs, right? But I did dabble with Arena of Valor, and it would say like ranged assassin, but they would also have like subcategories Like it would say they're good, like Initiator or like Siege or whatever. And I think, you know, that just makes it way easier to understand what you're picking for your hero and what your hero is good at. And I think that would really help the player base in general if they did kind of, you know, it doesn't have to be the full scope, but just the warrior, specialist, assassin, support classifications don't really do much.
Yeah,
That could be helpful.
Somebody just said Junkrat was the last specialist, but he's not though. That's the thing.
He's ranged. Yeah, I think that could really help having, you know, some specifics on roles, I guess. So a rework of the system is just going to help the player base learn the game. Yeah, I think that could be really cool. I hope that that's not like a big announcement. I'm just like, I want to see some esports news. I want to see what they're doing with the HGC, what they plan on doing with tournaments, what they plan on doing with funding, what they plan on doing with all of that sort of stuff. That's where my heart's at. And biggest thing is I hope that they announce something different with the open division. Maybe the Crucible is LAN, you know, that sort of stuff. I know it's extra money and all that jazz, but I've just got high hopes for the esports scene in this game. I really hope that there's some changes.
I don't think they announced anything esports related last year. I think it all came after.
Yeah.
The year before they did though,
they did,
when they announced HGC, that was actually quite a big part of the BlizzCon stuff. So that was really exciting.
Hopefully. Here's the
but
hoping.
yeah, like as you said, last year the esports was silent. So hopefully it was, since HGC was like 2017 and 2018 were kind of like twin years. I am expecting something pretty different, even for the main league in 2019. So I'm expecting probably like a refocusing on the regions, less focusing on like EU versus NA, more focusing on let's have a European tournament and then let's have like try to be more dynamic maybe. So I'm hoping for like, hey, Europe and Korea are the best two regions. How about we have a Europe and Korea tournament? You know, NA and China can have one as well. Rather than just every time EU versus NA, who's better? Oh, it's EU again. What a surprise. 4 times in a row.
He's memeing, but not memeing. It's beautiful.
Wait, I think that's an awful idea, though, just to be devil's advocate, because then you're just putting the 2 strongest regions against each other, and it doesn't promote growth with the lesser major regions. I think that's a bad idea.
I mean, I'm not saying let's have 4 in a row of EU versus Korea, but I am saying let's mix it up.
So we used to have 2 NA lands per season, 2 EU lands per season, and so on. And I think those brought more teams out and were better for community building and better for the individual scene, right? When you think about like 8 teams in North America, all getting to go into LAN, all getting to meet each other in person, the actual, you know, there's so much more reward available. And when we have these teams in the HGC League playing for maybe top 3 spots, that motivation is like, you know, whatever, let's kind of float by, make sure we don't go to Crucible for some of the teams that feel like they can't break in. But always having that chance to go to a LAN, show up and compete, I think is better for individual scenes. Is it the best esports broadcast? No, but I don't know. I preferred the old format myself.
Yeah, definitely. 2016 for me was a far, far better year than 2017 or 2018.
And that's a player's perspective too, right? So that's cool to hear.
Yeah, I think that's not all players' perspectives, so we'll be clear. That's definitely mine.
Players, yeah.
But I think it's a lot of players and it's a lot of viewers. Maybe not the majority there.
And it is good to point out that is all Blizzard covering these costs. More lands means more money at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you know, it could be a budget reason. It could be a lot of different things.
So I guess transitioning back to my thoughts on BlizzCon, the first thing I want to do is I want to link a tweet here in chat. And I've got bad news for everyone. It's actually a tweet from 2016, and it looks like it could come out today and people would still be excited about it. So yeah, linked it.
Do you just have these all favorited? You just have like.
I saw this the other day too. When I saw the roll hero swaps, I just paused it and I just face palmed so hard.
Yeah.
So it starts with reworked Haunted Minds, uncapped
progression. which they did.
Voice chat, party finder, clans. We don't have clans yet.
Clans would be cool.
We don't have hero swaps. We don't have party finder improvements. We don't have clans, and we definitely don't have more. So I'm not quite sure what happened.
Though. We do. We have it in custom. So like, why the heck is
fun fact, right? The reason it's not on live is actually an engine limitation. Great fun, this one. So basically, the step of the clients communicating with each other to confirm a swap, like they can do swaps with no confirmation very easily, but the step where someone needs to click yes, I confirm, and you need to communicate that with each other is for some reason incredibly taxing for the engine and therefore the servers. So they haven't been able to work on a cost-effective, fast, and tech-effective solution for that, which is why we don't have swaps. Fun story. Anyway.
Marche is dead, by the way.
He just wants the sad boy clan, and he can't have it.
Oh, no. Sad boys are right here. Don't worry, we got you.
I just want the sad boy tag by my name. I just want a hero swap.
I want to bring Gasm to Heroes of the Storm. That's my favorite one from League.
It's definitely, you know, around the time that tweet came out, obviously StarCraft 2 engine is what Heroes was born from. They have clans, right? They have a lot of these functionalities built into their game, and I would imagine that, you know, in the pipeline, it was something that just kind of like seemed like it would be easy to transition over, and maybe for some reason it wasn't. That's the only thing I can think of as to why we don't have clans. But you know, maybe this year, maybe this BlizzCon.
Maybe this year, boys. And then the next thing is we do know a role rework is coming. And I actually had an idea way back in like April 2017, which I pasted here, which is to create a drafting tool. Effectively, I got quotes for how much it would cost to actually make this drafting tool. And as it turns out, people were quoting me, I think, between 5 and 10 grand. And that was not worth my money, so never got made. But here's the like concept of it, and you can see there's like roles where I had tank, off tank, melee assassin, support, off support, auto attacker, mage, and then chuck specialist in purely for Abathur and Lost Vikings, basically. And then each of those had abilities. This is very similar to what you were saying earlier, Jake, about having kind
Wave
of
clear,
like,
ganker, enabler.
You know, valor. Yeah, exactly. So you can see each hero's classification here and what they bring. And then the plan was to build out a composition advisor for each map where you kind of have to check boxes. So and the idea would be you could have this in the game if you need it. So like, you know, Infernal Signs, what do you need? You need wave clear, you need shrine clear, you need a tank, ranged assassin, either mage or auto attacker, and a support. So it's like, if you don't tick those boxes, it's going to be like a red flag. It's like someone needs to pick this thing. And then, you know, you have yellow flags, which is like, hey, maybe you want more sustained damage, you know? But definitely not trying to force anything, but just trying to like educate players on what is the meta and what is like what makes a good composition. Because like honestly, I don't believe almost anyone actually understands what a good composition is in Heroes of the Storm. So, you know, hopefully we have that kind of rework system coming out. I still have faith. I think there's a lot of smart people at Blizzard, and I think they'll come up with something like that. Maybe they won't put it in the draft though, but I wish they would. And then my other wish, right? Super controversial opinion. I might get kicked out of the call for saying this, but Heroes of the Storm
3.0
demo Battle Royale. Oh, there you go. I knew it. Oh, he's gone. I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess I didn't know. I thought I would be leaving, but apparently Marche is taking that upon himself. So
it could work really well.
I'm going to say this right now. Do you think the engine could support that? That's no. That's a hard no. So I think we're safe.
I'd like to see it. I was playing Battle Royale, and I actually thought it was pretty solid. I thought it was pretty fun. I think Heroes of the Storm, the idea of a hero brawler works a lot better when you have a lot more heroes. and I think it works a lot better in that kind of dynamic, fast-flowing thing that it does in a MOBA. So I think fighters and battle royales, like, imagine Heroes of the Storm didn't exist and you had to pit all your favorite Blizzard characters against each other. If you did a list of what game types are best for that, I think MOBAs are pretty far down the list. I think battle royale is higher, so I think it'd work pretty well. I think it's probably too late, and they shouldn't do it with Heroes of the Storm. But you know,
Yes, thank you.
we'll see.
Will Blizzard make a BR? Who knows? It's so back to talking about BlizzCon. Maybe we'll see Diablo Battle Royale because no, I'm kidding. But they do have multiple.
I could see it.
They do have multiple projects. They said they have multiple projects that are in works. We know that there is a Netflix series for Diablo that's being produced. We know that we have Diablo 3 coming to the Switch, but beyond that, we don't know. Some of the rumors that have circulated are obviously Diablo 4, Diablo Dark Souls. So imagine more of a third person, behind Dark Souls, where you're fighting the Butcher, fighting Diablo as a Nephilim, and I think that would be super cool. Diablo
so sick,
fighting game is a rumor. There's a million rumors
I would just play
out
that
there.
on cooldown. I would just only play that.
The fighting game,
Souls-like Blizzard game in the Diablo universe
with the Blizzard polish.
Oh yeah, that's the game.
Weird
right
noises.
there.
Weird noises, guys.
That's the
Calm
game
down.
right there.
No, that's just the gasms coming out. So that's kind of the Diablo roundup. We do know the BlizzCon floor map is out. The main stage has changed. So if you've ever been to BlizzCon, the main stage was at a different angle than all the other stages. The main stage is now designed the same way the other stages are, where the back of the venue, when you walk in, is where the main stage is going to be the back. Because where you would walk in at the front, they've actually put Diablo 3 there. Or Diablo, whatever the demo is. I think it says Diablo 3 demo. Probably Switch plus other things. Everything else seems normal. We talked about heroes expectations. Overwatch probably map plus 2 heroes as well, unless it's Overwatch Battle Royale. Hearthstone, we can expect an expansion, but anybody expecting anything for those games? Can we just get to Classic WoW?
Yeah, we can just get to Classic WoW.
Okay, Classic WoW, boys. So I'm gonna just plug this right now. Colin, Marche, and I are literally starting TownHall Classic with Zoya tomorrow night. Like that show is, we're all like Classic WoW nerds. We love the game. We love talking about the game. We're excited to jump back into that world. So we're launching a podcast for that tomorrow. So that'll be us plus Zoya, which will be really cool. But yeah, man, we can't talk about it now because we're literally going to be talking about it for 2 hours tomorrow.
Yeah, it's probably best that we don't really touch on it too much.
The one thing I will say is, I think last year, I thought a lot of people didn't actually want Classic WoW. It's the classic meme statement, I know. You think you want, but you don't. But I do feel like that's actually probably the case for a lot of people. But I think in the past year, the spaceships flying around in Legion and the mess that was Battle of Azeroth, all these Azerite armor and all that stuff, I think there's now a lot more people that are actually wanting that and are not going to be turned away
I think
by that fact it's actually hard.
One of the other big things though is Classic WoW really has more of an identity, right? Modern WoW, there's so much shit. Everything's so fast. Nothing feels deliberate. You can turn your brain off and just do whatever, and CC everything in the way that you play the game. And also, the rise of Dungeons and Dragons. Classic WoW is so much closer to what D&D is, and I honestly think that will also be a relevant thing with Critical Role being what it is. I think people will. Just reciprocate with Classic WoW a lot more.
Yeah, absolutely agree.
I've been playing WoW since like beta, and yeah, BFA is such a mass. Honestly, a lot of recent expansions have been just a massive letdown for me. It just doesn't feel like the same game at all anymore.
It isn't. It isn't the same game.
Yeah, dude. Best analogy I saw was, imagine grinding for months and months and months in a math class, just trying to get better at math. You're getting better at math. You're seeing improvement. You end up writing your midterm. You get an A, or end of the class, and you end up getting an A. And some person who's just like basically just showing up to class, kind of goofing off, playing Fortnite on their computer, ends up getting a D on the test, but then Titan forges to an A. How would that feel? That's literally World of Warcraft.
That's Titan forge.
You're right.
Like it glorifies this weird gambling ideology, and it's so awful, dude. Yeah,
Titan
Nixium I
forges
think
to
said
an
it. But yeah, Titan forges to an ace. I don't remember where I read it or where I saw the video, but it was just, to me, when I heard that, I'm like, this guy, he painted the most beautiful image of BFA, and it's so true.
I mean, I think the thing for me is that they just traded like satisfaction for excitement, just over and over and over. And now there's like the excitement is so hollow it doesn't even work, and there's just no satisfaction. So where are we left now? Like nowhere.
Yeah, it was Nixium. It wasn't Asmongold. It was not Asmongold. It was Nixium. I remember it.
You guys can totally, I mean, people are saying Classic WoW is like super slow and it takes ever to get somewhere and yada, yada, yada. But
That's the point.
there's something about that is actually satisfying. You don't care. You don't care that you have to walk to the flight point, or the flight points are less, or that you might need to find a mage to port you to the other side of the world.
It just like feels more rewarding when you actually accomplish things that were difficult.
Yeah, it's just part of the journey, right? You know, there's a monstrous, like, I'm a PvP guy, and there's a monstrous creep on mobility for every single class throughout the game, right? Just the mobility creep in WoW's history is insane. And in classic WoW, positioning and just movement and all your slow abilities, you name it, are so much more important. Kiting as a hunter is a mega critical thing because of the way that movement and mobility and everything exists, or the lack thereof, compared to modern WoW. And you could say, oh, that's less fun, but I'll tell you, dude, it just feels better to me. And I can get why people want to be flying all over the place. You know.
All right, guys, it's an intervention. You've got a show tomorrow, guys.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
No, you're totally right, dude.
I was gonna say that too, but I didn't want to be the guy to bring that up. Thanks.
So if you want to hear us talk about classic WoW, Zoya, Kala, Marche, myself, we'll be doing a podcast, new series called TownHall Classic, starting tomorrow.
Yay!
Anything else about BlizzCon?
Well, are we getting a new game director? And do we want to talk about that now?
Didn't they announce it?
Is the question.
Also, is Mike Morheim doing the keynote or what?
Oh, I hope so, dude. I hope he keeps doing the keynote.
If
I want Chris Metzen.
comes out and like he's like, "This is my last one, bye forever," I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna Pepe hands in the crowd.
Why did you have to say this? Oh, so sad.
He's just gonna farm classic.
No, that's why. Yeah.
Jake's trash.
Town Hall Classic's 10 p.m. Eastern, same start time as this show, 7 p.m. Pacific. But yeah, Morheim, stepping down to play WoW Classic. Good on him. I think that's the right call. It's the right call. But yeah, so Alan Dabiri, the game head for Heroes of the Storm, has taken a new role on a different game within Blizzard. We don't know what it is. This is probably the fastest turnover of any game at Blizzard that has been publicly announced, at least as far as I know, with Dustin Browder 3 years ago, was it? Transitioning away, maybe it's 2 years ago, away and moving on to a new project. We know that Browder left. David Kim, who was the head of balance for StarCraft 2, left StarCraft because the game was theoretically done. They're still balancing it technically. He left. So considering that these guys are like RTS veterans, Alan Dabiri worked on War 3, I think is when he started. So he was with Blizzard for a long, long time. And there's a lot of veteran guys that have worked on RTS. There's a lot of pointers at like a Warcraft mobile game or Warcraft 4 or something, or at least some kind of RTS. I don't think they would make an Overwatch RTS, but sky's the limit. I guess when it comes to Blizzard, they just haven't made an RTS in a long time, and with all these other people that are super talented in doing that, it does seem likely to me that that'll happen. But going back to just Heroes, yeah, I mean, did they say if it's KO doing it or what?
Okay, so what happened is the statement. It was like, so I'm stepping down. By the way, KO Milka, he's amazing, guys. He's a fantastic guy. All right. 2 sentences later. KO Milka, this guy is so good. You guys have no idea how good this guy is. Like, it's like, okay, another 5 sentences. KO Milka, the production director, guys, he's amazing. No more words. He's just so amazing. And then at the very end, thanks KO Milka, like, signing off. And then they didn't announce he was the new game director. They just kept thanking him. Like, I don't know what's going on. Is he the new game director? Did they just not announce it?
He must be.
Who knows?
Probably.
Maybe they're announcing at BlizzCon. Who knows what's going on? Is there even a game director? Did we just get rid of that role now? Who knows?
For the reference, I didn't know TownHall Classic THC. That's not deliberate, by the way. It's just it's my
hey,
brand.
I'm Canadian, so congratulations, Canadians.
Yeah.
God damn it.
There you
go.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean...
By the way, I've just seen something in chat. 2019 is going to be the make or break. Is going to be make or break for HOTS.
Yeah, we've been
I think
saying
I've seen that every year since
literally
2014.
every year. Right? Like, literally every year. This is it. Heroes 2.0. It's make or break. But, you know, here we are, right? Yeah,
I'm going to
okay.
be playing HOTS with my grandkids. Before
This
we get hero
year
swaps.
will be make or break for heroes. Says
You're going to be
Marche.
like, hey, kids, we almost got the Sad Boys clan unlocked.
I can finally be sad.
I like how he turns into Deckard Cain when he gets old. It's so sick.
Surprisingly good impression, to be honest. I was
Yeah,
taken aback.
is.
Dang. Thanks. Man.
Well, okay. I think we are over the time limit. Bakery, it's 5 a.m. What is up with your sleep schedule, by the way? Tell me about it.
Okay, so I've been working NA time because that's kind of like Dig's kind of an NA organization at this point. Kind of headquartered in NA. So I literally just finished work, like right now, and I was like, okay, whew, I got done with work. What am I gonna do? Open Twitch. I see you guys are live. And I'm like, oh my god, I got a pitch to my haunted minds idea. So that's how I got here.
Priorities. Good. Well, all right. So, you know, we talked about this a little bit at the start of the show, kind of TownHall and where TownHall stands. Naturally, the show fizzled out for a while. It's been like 3+ months since we've done an episode, to the point where we even said, hey, we're going to do a finale. And then I just kept putting it off. I literally didn't ask anyone when they were available. I just didn't schedule it. I was like, I don't want to do a finale. That's sad. That means the show is done. And I kept putting it off. And you know, ultimately went to California, was hanging out with Kala and Marche, and we were just jamming, talking about the game, and we're like, we should probably do a podcast. So we just said, screw it, we're going to do a podcast. And we're at least going to do this episode, a post-BlizzCon episode, and a Town Holiday. It has to happen in December.
The classic.
Sign me up for Town Holiday.
That is
Last year was so much fun. We have to do it again.
TownHall Classic is 10 p.m. tomorrow, guys. 10 p.m. Eastern time. So same start time as this. But we're at least going to do those 3. Now, schedule-wise, next week is TwitchCon. The week after that is BlizzCon. I'm staying after BlizzCon for several days. Immediately after that, these 2 guys are going to Japan for how many weeks?
3 weeks. 3.
For 3 weeks. So the schedules are going to be pretty wonky. So we can't really say we're going to do consistent shows between now and, I guess, December. Really,
Yo,
right?
you give me a time, I will.
Yeah, we can do it.
100% join from Japan.
Yeah,
just let us know.
we're gonna
But
be
yeah,
streaming from there
just
and
saying.
stuff, so
Okay.
we can super join from Japan.
Yeah.
Well, then maybe it will be a little bit more viable than I thought. So that's actually excellent news. But I would like to commit to, you know, like a bi-weekly show or something. You know, I want to actually just kind of thank Mythalin on Reddit for making a Reddit thread, promoting this, getting a lot of discussion. I didn't see it till many like 15 hours after it was posted. I saw it earlier today. It's cool to see you guys excited about the show. There's a lot of positive comments, just excited to see the show back. And then there was comments asking about a Patreon. And, you know, one of the problems with Arcane 8, Bloodlust, everything. There were people talking about that, like, oh, Jake just stopped with all these things. It all just came down to money, not being able to get sponsors, not being able to fund the events I want to do. And it's not that I'm not making money. It's just that I can't get prize pools. I can't fly out casters. I would have loved to run a Bloodlust event this year, and it's been very difficult for me. So one thing we are going to do with the show is we are going to really try to do a full-fledged Patreon, to the point where we're going to talk about the various goals and stuff that, could drive it forward. But if we hit a certain threshold, we will do a weekly show again, right? So there'll be a lot of different, incentives, to try to make it more viable. But I miss doing the show. These guys want to actively do the show. I mean, Bakery, we'll grab you whenever we can. I know you're super busy with work, which was why one of the reasons we slowed down to begin with. Dunk kind of like evaporated from the world. And maybe he'll be back, maybe he won't. I don't know. I can't really speak on that right now, but we're definitely looking to do more shows. So the show's not done. Obviously, we just did an episode. People were asking, is this a finale? Not the case. But we can't promise mega consistency around the chaotic cons happening and everything. But yeah. Hearts.
I love getting on here and talking about HOTS. So anytime that you want to have a show, you let me know, and as long as I have the time, or even if I don't, I'll try
on
to
the same page as me.
I will do absolutely anything I can to get involved, because it's so much fun, and I think this is something that the scene needs.
I agree.
But that's just me. What do I know?
I will say that's the other half. I kind of, when I stepped away from doing the show, one of my mental reasons was I should make room for someone else to step up, fill that void, and, succeed TownHall. And it just, I don't think it happened, right? People were still asking for, I consistently saw stuff on Reddit and so on and such. And I was like, all right, cool. Well, I miss doing it anyways. Here we go. Penny, thanks for the 35 months. Love. But yeah, I mean, that's it. That's all I'm going to say. We are going to do a special edition batch of TownHall shirts, which will support the three of us, or more, whatever. Support the creation of future episodes as well. Let us do more fun stuff, and we have a lot of cool ideas, I guess, in the mill. But it is time for shoutouts, starting with Bakery.
Hi. So shout outs to TownHall Heroes, baby. I've got this shirt on. Isn't it amazing? I showed that already, but they kind of couldn't see it on the stream. So, no, I mean, I don't have to shout out sponsors anymore because I don't actually represent Dig publicly. I just work there, so shout out to them anyway. They're kind of good. I'll be at BlizzCon. Yes. I have been spamming tanks in Hero League, as I'm sure people saw.
You missed our Mount Gannis conversation.
Yeah, I did. But I did see a tweet